Hello, everybody, and welcome to Foul Territory, presented by Fastenal. It's our spring training tour. It's engineered by Fastenal. Check out more at fastenal.com. And by the way, take a look at the schedule, guys, because I tell you what, we are here for the duration. Of course, we're at Dodgers camp today, being that it's Friday, February 20th. Tomorrow, AJ Pierzynski and myself will be out at the Mariners camp in Peoria. Then Sunday, the Rangers. You can see the schedule there. AJ's here for the long haul, then headed to Florida.
I'm allergic to Arizona, Alanna.
Allergic to Arizona, not allergic to the Los Angeles Dodgers. That is Kyle Tucker, who is, of course, one of the newest Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, you know him. Hey, Shohei Ohtani, that's not him. That's Roki Sasaki, Ha-Seong Kim, Max Muncy. There's Miguel Rojas. There we go. And that, my friends, is us. Todd Frazier, of course, AJ Pierzynski, Alanna Rizzo in for Scott Braun. We saw Ha-Seong Kim. We saw, of course, Freddie Freeman, who we're going to get into later on, wants to play for a few more years. Todd, good to be with you, and good to be with you, AJ, here at Cactus League.
Is this like a homecoming for you?
It is a little. It's changing a little bit. As more time goes on, the separation has become
It happens
greater.
to all of us, trust me.
I have to say that. But
tell her, like, when you quit playing, it's amazing. You're like, oh, I know everybody in the league, and then like a year later, I know, a little less, and every year
and we keep getting older, Todd, and the players keep getting younger. So that's weird.
Exactly. And I feel you still got your blue on there too, representing. That's pretty cool. Let's go. You can't throw that stuff away. So that's nice.
No, I have a closet full of Pantone 294. I saw the trophy downstairs, the piece of metal, if you will. I took a photo with that piece of metal.
By the way, Todd, not only does she have her blue pants, she has a blue jacket that she didn't wear. So she was Dodger blue.
I looked like
she looked like the mascot.
She
looked like the mascot.
Yeah,
the Dodgers don't have a mascot. Here's their new mascot.
Let me tell you, I worked for this club for 7 seasons. So as a team reporter, you don the colors.
Yes.
AJ, you have a lot of black and white, I would imagine.
Well, that's because I'm colorblind.
Oh, well,
I'm just kidding.
There's that.
It's only,
a lot of blue.
It's only someone else that works on the show that's colorblind.
It is what it is. All right, it is time to charge the mound.
He's charging the mound.
I tell you what, Pat Murphy, good for him. An extension, and it's actually not even an extension, AJ. It is a brand new contract for Pat Murphy, the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. It is said to be, let's see here, with a club option for 2029. It adds 2 years onto his contract, guaranteed $8.95 million in new money, makes him one of the highest paid managers in Major League Baseball. So, Todd, let's start with you. Pat Murphy is a guy people seem to love to play for, and it just speaks to what the Brewers and Mark Antanasio think about him going ahead and giving him a new deal before the season starts. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. You know, you hear a lot of players getting big deals, and now you're seeing managers getting big deals too as well. He's a player's coach, man. This guy, he's funny, he's witty, but ultimately he's serious at the times that need be. He expects a lot out of his players. I never got to play with him or for him, excuse me. I would have loved to. I played for some really good managers, but this guy, he's an old soul. He loves the game, and he respects the game. Like I said, he wants a lot out of you, and deservingly so. Good for him, man. There's not that many good managers out there. This guy right now, he deserves it, and I'm happy for him. And hopefully the Brewers understand, the players understand that this is a big step for them to keep stepping up and winning their divisions, because guess what? He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
AJ, under Pat Murphy's tutelage, the Brewers 190 and 134. He's a baseball rat, a grinder kind of guy, old school mentality. Obviously came up, of course, in the college ranks with ASU and Notre Dame, I believe. And these guys just like to be around him, and the Brewers have rewarded him for it.
Yeah, and they've had success. Back-to-back Manager of the Year, back-to-back AL Central titles. They won the most games in baseball last year with a team that many people didn't think was going to do a whole lot, except for Eric Kratz. Yeah, he's great to talk to. He's engaging when you talk to him. He's intelligent when you talk to him. He's also funny when you talk to him. He's sarcastic at times. But he knows how to communicate with people, and he knows how to connect with people, and I think that's what being a big league manager is all about. And he has his thing, and he has a way that he wants this team to play. And the Brewers, give Matt Arnold and the Brewers front office a huge pat on the back also. They have molded this team into a team that Pat Murphy wants. Mm-hmm. It's not just, let's go slug, let's go hit homers. Murph is about small ball at times, and they do hit home runs, but he wants to take the extra base, play great defense, pitch really well. And I said this last year when we talked about it a lot. The Brewers almost shocked you the way they played, because when you went in there for a 3-game series and they swept the Dodgers for the whole year, right? But the Dodgers got them in the postseason, but they had a way of, because it was so different than what so many other teams did, where they bunt and they'd hit and run and they'd steal bases, they'd take the extra base. They just put so much pressure on all the other teams. Teams weren't used to it, and for those 3 games, it just when you're in the middle of a long 20, say you're 20 games, 20 days, and in the middle of that is 3 games with the Brewers, and you're not ready for it. It shocked teams, and good for them for finding a different way to do it with obviously not the highest payroll, but they always pitch, they always play defense, they always run the bases, and they put the ball in play. They've been a good team.
And you never hear the Brewers complain about anything. Small market team, that type of thing. Well, it doesn't seem like they do, though. They seem to be in the mix, certainly in the hunt every single season in the National League Central, and have made it to the postseason more times than not over the course of the last decade. And I tell you what, Todd, we'll talk about this in terms of managerial salaries. There seems to be a new trend that these guys are finally starting to make some actual coin, because, of course, you had Craig Counsell with then the Brewers and obviously now with the Cubs giving him a 5-year, $40 million deal, so about an $8 million average value in terms of that salary. Dave Roberts, of course, recently, March of 2025, that new contract was through 2029, averaged slightly over $8 million for Roberts, of course, the manager of the Dodgers. And then Alex Cora on a contract through 2027, $7.3 million for a total of $21.75. So it seems like the managers, the good ones anyway, are starting to be paid as such.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing a trend here a little bit too, and I'm actually for it. I don't know, I would love to hear what AJ thinks, but for me, they're ex-players. These guys played the game, they understand the game, they're going to know how to control the game too as well. I had a guy in Dusty Baker who, absolute gem of a guy, absolute gem of a coach. He understood, hey, Frazier, we're going to give you a day off here. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. He knew it. In my mind, it's like, I want to play every game. But he understands the grind, and he understands that. And I think these ex-players and, now managers coming into the league here have a name for themselves, not only from playing, but now from managing. And I think the more ex-players we can get to manage, the better, in my opinion.
Agreed. But Pat Murphy didn't play. Pat Murphy was a football player. Did you know Pat Murphy played football?
Player.
I agree, anyway. Man. I think players give the best insight to the game and understand the game better. And they got away from that for a little while, and some organizations are still away from that. And I have no problem if you didn't play in the major leagues or have a nice career that you can be a good manager. I think you can. It just gives you one extra notch of credibility to players when you've done it. You did it for a long time, and you're a successful player. It helps. It just gives you a little bit more respect, a little more cachet with the players. But I'm happy managers are getting paid more. Now they need to figure out a way to pay coaches more, not only just the managers, but all the coaches down, because for people inside the industry, they know that coaches don't get paid nothing. They get paid nothing.
And they have the worst schedules.
And they have the worst schedules. They have to be here, for a 7:00 game. They get here some guys get there 10 in the morning.
Yeah,
They're there till
I was talking to Chris Woodward yesterday, who obviously is a base coach here for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we were talking about the fact he lives in Santa Monica. I'm like, my God, that's so hard to get to Dodger Stadium. He's like, I leave my house at 10 a.m. They get their schedules are crazy. Their pay is not good, and I would love to see them get paid more as well. But you and Todd were talking about the fact that major league coaches, major league managers, the experience factor and the respect factor. So does that mean, in your opinion, guys, and AJ, I'll tee you up first on this, do you think Tony Vitello with the Giants will have a tougher hill to climb because he wasn't a major league player and he's coming from the college level?
No. I don't think that you have to be a major league player to be a good major league manager. There's been people that have proven that. But I feel like you just have a better understanding from day one of what it takes. Now, Tony Vitello is going to have to be a quick learner about how the major leagues work, because he's never had to do 162 games in 180 days or whatever it is, plus run a spring training, plus handle guys going up and down, plus handle the front office, plus handle a bullpen for that long, plus handle personalities that long. He's done it. He's done it for 50 to 60 games, which is, a nice run, but he's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Use the same pitchers on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Use your different guys in the midweek games. Whereas this is 20 games in 20 days. How do I make sure the bullpen's good? Now he made some good hires in people, but you can't. It doesn't mean you just can't be a good manager. It just means, again, there's just a little extra respect from players when you talk to other players. It's like, reporters, when they talk to other reporters that are on the grind every day. Hey, I know what you're going through. Well, as a player, when you look at guys and you say, hey, as people, you say, hey, I know what you're going through. You've been through it. So it just gives you that. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal, but it's now we're making it into, I should say.
And I think the biggest thing that probably in his mind is expectation. So he's probably thinking to his mind, I got to do this. I got to make sure here. I got to do that. And hopefully that's not the only thing he's thinking about. I would like for him to come in, be his own man, and come in and be a manager and do what he does best. I know a lot of things he did at Tennessee were awesome. It's going to be a different type of atmosphere now, not the rah-rah kind of stuff, which I don't mind at all. College baseball is great with all that stuff, but he's got to understand he's going to be with professionals. And I think the biggest thing in his mind maybe, or our minds, is expectation. So understand you're going to have to take the good with the bad as a manager and ride that wave until, they find a way to lose a ball game.
Todd, what's going to be the biggest thing for him to realize quickly? What do you think might be one of the bigger hurdles that he's going to have to transition from the baseball level, obviously at a high level, they won the national championship, but to the big league level of things are very different between these white lines?
Yeah, I think it's managing different ball players. It's going to be hard to mold every single guy to what you expect. And that's the part of those expectations I'm talking about. You got your big names. Let those guys be. Let them, be the leaders of the team. And just understand there's going to be a lot of different things you can't control going out there, but you can control, what you want out of your players. You can control making sure everybody's on time doing their due diligence. But at the same time, you're going to have to take the good with the bad, because it's going to be a different type of managing, and you got to understand not everybody is the same in the major leagues.
Also, Todd, he doesn't get to pick his players here. He doesn't get to pick. He went out and recruited, right? He recruited his 35 guys, right? Nowadays, Buster Posey gets to pick them and who they draft, and there's players that were already there. So you don't get to pick your players, and they can be there for Rafi Devers as a long-term contract, right? No. So he can't just say, oh, you got to transfer. I don't like you. We'll go find someone else. It doesn't work like that in the big leagues. You can't just have always a new shuffle coming in. So that's going to be fascinating. And plus the other thing the other day, remember the where he corrected all the media people after you need those guys on your side, right? And he didn't really get on them, but he was just like, hey, first press conference, he's like, hey, I want to sit down and explain, guys, you got this wrong. Like, Tony, nobody really cared that much.
He's certainly not used to having to address the media twice a day. I mean, that's something that's very different. No other sport does that except for baseball, where the manager has to address the team twice a day. It's going to be an interesting ride for him in his first year with the San Francisco Giants. We'll see, of course, how it goes. By the way, we have a very special Dodgers territory coming up today. Myself, Clint Pasillas, and Katie Wu will be joined by Dodgers manager Dave Roberts in an exclusive sit-down. We're going to go over the World Series. We're going to take us through the game step by step of what he was thinking and how he was managing them to their back-to-back World Series championships. And then, of course, we'll look forward to the 2026 season as they try to make it a three-peat. All right, coming up next, Jack Harris with the California Post will be joining us right here on Foul Territory. We are at Dodgers camp at Camelback Ranch. Jack, of course, is here, and we appreciate you being here. Jack, thank you so much making the change from the LA Times to the California Post. And here we are as the Dodgers do make that quest for a three-peat. So let's start with Yoshinobu Yamamoto getting the start tomorrow. What have you talked to Dave about or Yama about in terms of workload? I mean, this is a guy that posted every fifth day last year, pitched huge innings in the World Series, and here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the question coming off last season for him was like, how was his arm going to feel? How was his body going to feel after throwing as many innings as he did over the course of the full season? Obviously, with what he did in the World Series, pitching back-to-back games in Games 6 and 7, throwing 2 complete games in the playoffs. And it was interesting to hear him say, like, I felt good, right? Like, I went through the offseason. My body felt strong. He's coming to camp looking just bigger, more physically imposing. He's going to pitch for Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic. And there's a lot of optimism around camp here that he's going to be able to handle the WBC workload, is going to be able to make it through another full season feeling healthy and fresh. And, he's already talking about, yeah, I'd love to compete for a Cy Young award. Dave Roberts has mentioned him, along with a couple others of his pitchers, as Cy Young candidates. So given how much he had to pitch last year, the fact he's coming to camp looking as good as he is, as far ahead of schedule as he is to be pitching in the first Cactus League game, is a good sign for someone who, again, I think had the biggest question marks about how last year's workload was going to impact him this year.
Does he get a heavier javelin? Is that?
I mean, it might be it. The workout training methods he explained he does, right? It's like body weight stuff. It's like handstands and push-ups and all these other things that his trainer Yada Sensei, who was a big reason why he pitched in Game 7 last year, kind of convincing him like, hey, let's see how you feel tomorrow when you come in. So he trains in a really unique way. He takes care of his body in a really unique way, and at least to this point, a couple years into his big league career, it's worked out all right.
Can you expand on that a little bit? Because he was saying, Todd, I'll get to you in a second, but I wanted to follow up with you, Jack, on that, because it's almost as if he said, if you can align your body correctly and feel a certain way, you're going to be okay with pitching in Game 7. So was it more of a mental approach? Was it a physical approach? I mean, he relied very heavily on that advice. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think it speaks to just the really clean mechanics he has. Like he talked about when he went out there in Game 7 last year, he felt okay and he was able to stay in his delivery. That was the thing, like Dodgers people watching it in amazement noticed too, is that even for as much as he had thrown last October going into that game, he was able to repeat his delivery and his throw in a way that just not many guys can do with the amount he had pitched. And that speaks to, again, the way he takes care of his body, the way he's out there multiple times a week throwing his javelins around on the backfield, some of the other things he does that are a little different, that are unique, but have really been good for him, even at the size that he plays at, to take care of his body and be in a spot to not only pitch as much as he did last October, but turn right around and be ready for this season too.
I want to go to Shohei Ohtani a little bit, talk a little bit about his spring training. Is he a full go? I've heard he looks electric out there. Talk a little about him. Is there anything that we need to know that is going to hold him back from being 100% doing everything they want?
Nothing's going to hold him back physically. And one of the things that's been really good for him this offseason, it was his first offseason being completely healthy with the Dodgers. He was past the Tommy John recovery. He was past the shoulder surgery that he had last offseason. And it's allowed him to come into camp in as good of a spot this early on as the Dodgers have seen him. Obviously, there's going to be some complications for him ramping up as a pitcher just because he's going to the WBC. It might be hard to face hitters that whole time there, but the Dodgers still think he's going to be ready to make starts from the beginning of the season. You're going to see them be still a little more methodical with how he's used over the course of the year, given the two-way workload and the fact that they want him to be as fresh as possible come October. But this is as close as we're going to see, back to a full-time two-way Shohei Ohtani. And the way he's come into camp, the fact he's already been facing hitters as a pitcher, he's been getting in, taking live batting practice as a hitter the last couple of days, is another sign of a guy who, even with a short offseason, was able to come into camp feeling really good, feeling ready to go, and take on a big workload in his own right this year as he goes back to being a full-time two-way player.
How does that work, though? Because he's not pitching in the WBC for Japan, right? So how's that going to work? How are they going to continue to – is he going to have to throw live BPs, bullpens? Because those are not the same as pitching. Even though it's spring training and they're still different than a big league game, if they go all the way – if they make a run to the finals, he's basically going to miss 3 weeks of camp where he could be pitching in Cactus League games. How do you ramp him up?
Yeah, that's going to be part of the challenge. I think that the specifics of that plan, even they're still kind of working through in terms of, is he going to be able to throw live BPs or face hitters while he's hitting in the WBC? I think at a bare minimum, their hope is that they're going to be able to keep his arm moving, that he's going to be able to stay in some sort of throwing programs, whether it's bullpens or long toss, and that when he comes back to the Dodgers at the end of March, they can maybe get him a start or two at the end of spring training in the Freeway Series. My guess is he's not going to be fully ramped up for 6 or 7 innings the first couple times he takes the mound this year as a pitcher. But again, like Andrew Friedman is confident they'll be able to find a way to keep his arm in a spot where he can come back, maybe throw 2 or 3 innings in a Freeway Series game, and then be ready to go to make starts at the beginning of the season. I mean, the other nice part that they have with him is that because he's like an extra pitcher on their pitching staff, they can get away with him being shortened up a little bit at the start of the season because they can almost piggyback him or do some other things. So they have some flexibility, but
That was one of my big questions coming into spring.
Imagine, though.
Yeah, like
they have their own rules. The Dodgers have their own rules, Alanna.
It's called the Ohtani rule. Just get over it. It's
I know.
fine.
And the only team that defers money. I mean,
they're not the only team that defers.
I know that's
money.
what fans say. Look, the Dodgers, they have their own rules. They can do whatever they want.
Listen,
they have their own TV deal. They have their own.
Don't hate us.
I'm not hating. I think Dodgers are awesome.
The game.
I love the Dodgers. I think they're awesome.
They find the rooms on the margins.
That's good. That's what you're supposed to do, though. That's how you win. That's how you win back-to-back World Series.
I know.
I'm not mad at the Dodgers at all. I just think it's funny. He's like, well, they get to carry the extra pitcher. The problem is no one else can figure out how to make a two-way player.
Listen, go get yourself another Ohtani, then you can also have an Ohtani rule. Jack, you had tweeted earlier. Just go find
another one. They're growing on trees here in Glendale, but only on the Dodgers side.
That's right. The White Sox over there, they don't have those trees. They don't have those trees.
Trust me, I walked over there today. They do not have those trees.
They do not have those trees. You had tweeted earlier today, Jack, that Dave Roberts was a little bit bullish about Mookie Betts. What more can you tell us about that? Because he was, I assume it's the way that he was playing defense last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at Mookie this season, the Dodgers' hope is that, okay, last year in the offseason, going into last year, he spent so much time focusing on defense, learning how to play shortstop at a high level, and then translated that to a good season defensively. Amid all that, obviously the offense dropped off. There was the stomach virus he had at the start of the year that zapped him of a bunch of weight and strength and then led to some bad habits over the course of the season. And then you couple the fact that he was still taking, dozens, hundreds of ground balls before every game. It was tough for him, I think, to maybe balance that workload on both the defensive side and offensively once he started struggling at the plate. So their hope this offseason is he's able to kind of get back to the basics. He explained it as almost rewiring his swing. He's not changing what he's doing at the plate, but he's trying to get back to a place where, for him, it's really important the way his hands load, the way that the whole swing connects for him to maximize the strength he has and what is another guy with a smaller frame. He felt good about the offseason work he did. The Dodgers feel like he was able to kind of get his mechanics back to where they need to be. And the hope is that now, because he's grown so much defensively as a shortstop, he's going to have a little bit more bandwidth to do both things. He's going to have the strength back that he lost last season, and that you'll see a Mookie Betts who, Dave Roberts said, like offensively, he expects him to be an MVP caliber player. You couple on the defense and the fact he was a Gold Glove finalist at a premium position last year. They still think he can be one of the best players on their team. But it's something that's going to be interesting to watch, especially, even in these spring training games, is how does Mookie's bat look? Does some of that power come back that he was missing last year? Is there a more consistent swing that he just couldn't really find for an extended stretch a year ago?
I want to ask a little bit about one of the newcomers, Kyle Tucker. How is he acclimating with his new teammates? Looks like we saw one video of him. He was smiling left and right, man. Is he starting to get comfortable over there as a new guy with the Dodgers?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. He for as much attention that was paid to Kyle Tucker's arrival this winter, he's almost kind of blended into the background here early in camp. Like even today, he's walking out on the field with Will Smith and Freddie Freeman, and all the fans are shouting at Freddie and Will, and he's just kind of like one of the guys there, which is part, I think, of what the appeal was or why people felt like this was going to be a good fit for him, is because he doesn't have to come here and be the biggest name guy. He doesn't have to be the guy that's speaking for the clubhouse or anything like that. Now, he did talk in their first team meeting of the spring about why he wanted to come to the Dodgers, what his perspective on them was, playing against them over his career, how much he's admired the kind of team they built and the way they played. Max Muncy talked about that being like a refreshing thing for guys on the team to hear, just to remember, like, okay, we've set a standard at this point that even other players in the league kind of look up to and admire. But yeah, on the field, he's just one of a bunch of star players here. He's gonna talk to the media today for the first time. So it has been interesting to go from a winter where there was so much angst about Kyle Tucker joining the Dodgers to where now, he's just kind of like another one of these guys out here on this team that has so many big names.
Just another way the Dodgers broke the rules, Alanna, right, with the way they set up his contract. Just breaking rules left and right.
They're just better at it than everybody else.
I know. Blake Snow, he threw 100 innings last year, and he said his arm is fatigued before we even started, basically, camp. What's going on there?
Yeah,
he's been a 200 inning-ish, 1-2 Cy Young guy, pitched deep in the postseason before. 100 innings. What changed?
Yeah, I think last year, he, as another new arrival to the Dodgers, was really eager to start the year strong. He started their home opener after they came back from Japan. One of the problems with that is that his shoulder started bugging him during the spring, and he tried to pitch through it at first. He made a couple starts at the beginning of the year, and then it got worse. And then he missed 4 months, letting his shoulder recover. He comes back late in the season, and while he was able to save some bullets and the inning count wasn't huge, he did have to ramp up quickly. And one of the things he said, looking back in hindsight, is it just kind of felt like he was playing catch up the whole season. He was able to pitch well in the playoffs, but the shoulder really started bugging him again then. So like another Dodger thing, they get into this winter, they say, okay, look, if your shoulder's not feeling right, if there's some lingering stuff there, take your time, slow it down. We don't need you to make 30 starts next year. We don't need you to be ready to go from opening day if it's going to, cause us to push you in that shoulder more than we want. Take your time with it and let it come along at a pace that will allow him to come back at some point this season. I think he's going to be unlikely to start opening day. But to be able to come back and pitch fresh, again, everything about the Dodgers is being ready for October. And that's part of this. I think if maybe it's a different situation or a different team, like he's maybe trying to push himself a little bit more right now, or the team's pushing him a little bit more, but they're going to play it cautious with him. I think you'll see the same thing if any of their other starters start feeling little things over the course of the season. They're going to be really, really protective of these guys. This is one of the things that coming into last year, after the Dodgers won in 24, their front office sat down and looked at, okay, what are the biggest challenges of repeating as a World Series champion? And the one thing Andrew Friedman pointed to was, if you push your rotation really hard in an October run, there's usually after effects the next year. So that's something they're going to have to manage this year. That's part of why Blake Snell's being slow played. That's part of why I think, when it comes to Ohtani or Yamamoto, if there's times they can maybe give them a little extra rest here or there between starts, they're going to do it. They're going to rely on their depth. And when it comes to Snell specifically, I think you'll see him back in the relatively early part of the season, depending on just how his ramp up goes as he starts to increase the intensity here in spring. But it's just another example of a team that has the luxury of not needing a Blake Snell, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, to make 30 starts in a season and still feel good about the pitching options they're going to have.
Jack, 2-part question for you. Second base, with Tommy Edman not being ready for opening day, who do you see getting the bulk of reps at second? And also, besides that, is there any other question going into this season?
Yeah, at second base, I think you'll see Miguel Rojas obviously get a lot of the at-bats. And then there's somewhat of an open competition for maybe a platoon partner with him. I think Ha-Seong Kim is a guy that has looked good, at least in the first couple days of spring here. The Dodgers have felt good about some of the strides he made with his swing. We saw a little bit last season. He's going to be in that mix. But it is funny. You get into spring training, you're looking at where the position battles are. And the biggest one is for a part-time platoon role for maybe
Right.
the first couple weeks of the season. That's just the reality of the roster they have. I think outside of that, if Blake Snell is going to miss some extended time at the start of the season or not be ready for opening day, they're probably going to have to find another starting pitcher to put in there. I think Justin Wroblewski is an option. Gavin Stone and River Ryan coming back from their injuries both look good physically, have bulked up over their rehab process. And then at the back end of the bullpen, probably a few spots up for grabs too, where guys like Will Klein, Edgardo Enriquez are going to be trying to take the success they had in the postseason and earn a little bit more permanent big league time. But when you look at this roster, there's not a lot of questions about how it's all going to come together, what the lineup's going to look like. And again, outside of the Ha-Seong Kim, Alex Freeland competition for a part-time platoon spot, everything else is pretty much set.
Okay, 2 things on what you just said. One, who doesn't come in the first couple of days of spring training looking good? You never hear anybody come in and say, man, that guy's a fat hunk of junk. Man, he looks terrible. Everybody's in the best shape of their life.
This has been a good camp for the best shape of the life.
That's everybody.
There's a lot of Teoscar
Hernandez in there yesterday.
Teoscar Hernandez is down. Brusdar Gratterall, even though he's dealing with the shoulder, has lost some weight. Even Dave Roberts is saying he's in the best managerial shape of his life.
Yeah, of course, because he's got back-to-back World Series and a nice contract.
He also cut back on the vino, which really shocked me about Dave.
And then my other question is, you mentioned how everything is in place. Kike, when's he back? And then the other one is in the outfield. We have my new favorite player, Alex Call. Right? We have Teo, you have Pages, you have Tucker. So where does Alex Call fit into this roster?
Yeah, I think right now you'll see him probably being a little bit more of a bench bat, somebody to bring in different spots. He still has
face what lefty for which guy?
Right.
Freddie?
Right.
Tucker?
I mean, I think even when you're trying to figure out, where he fits in, it might even be, once they're at full health and they have some of the versatility, like with a Tommy Edman, when Kike Hernandez comes back, like, if you have a Ha-Seong Kim in the lineup and then a lefty comes in, okay, maybe you can throw Alex Collin there and then rearrange the defense however you need to. But yeah, I mean, I go back to the start of the offseason. Someone like Ryan Ward got added to the 40-man. He was the MVP of the Pacific Coast League last year. There was a lot of talk like, hey, this guy could take some at-bats. He could be a big part of the puzzle. And then they get Kyle Tucker, and suddenly the whole math changes. So I think Alex Call's another one of those guys that probably saw his at-bats go down with the way things have played out. But, there could be injuries. There could be other things. I think that's where Kike Hernandez, who's probably going to be back around mid-season, where he fits in right now, it's tough to say, because you look at the roster, you go, okay, well, like, where are you going to get at-bats for him? But over the course of a year, there's always stuff that pops up. The Dodgers would rather have more depth, obviously, than not. And then with Kike specifically, they know that, if someone gets hurt going into October or someone's struggling and we need to inject some life into the lineup, he's somebody that always performs that time.
Surest thing of all time. Surest thing of all time. Kike coming back to the Dodgers. It was like, we're like, where's Kike going to sign? Dodgers, duh.
Yeah, and I mean, even with guys like him and Evan Phillips, like they had to wait this offseason until spring started and 60-man IL spots opened up, and they could have explored some other opportunities. Kevin Phillips talked about, like, some teams called during his free agency this winter, but the fact that they were willing to wait to then come back to the Dodgers, I think Max Muncy's contract extension is another example of this, that the guys that are here really like being here and really want to stay here for as long as they can.
What do you need to see from Roki, Jack? I mean, it seems like he's a big question mark still in terms of implementing a third pitch, but just, getting bigger physically, getting stronger mentally. What do you need to see?
Yeah, I think the third pitch, as he goes back to being a starter, is going to be really important. At least is something to just mix up his looks a little bit. Like, I think even in the playoffs last year, you saw when he was executing like the fastball with both the 100-mile-an-hour velocity and the command, and then could play the splitter forkball off that. When both of those pitches are as good as they can be, he can probably get away with being a two-pitch pitcher. But even over the course of the postseason, like the velocity dipped a little bit, the command dipped a little bit, and suddenly by the end of the World Series, right, it was Yamamoto going back out there on 0 days rest instead of Roki Sasaki coming into the game. So I think that part will be important. I think the other interesting thing is going to be to see like how he takes the confidence he did build from his playoff success last year and translates that as he goes back into a full-time starting role. I think, times that he was asked, like, what was your impression of the big leagues last year? He always came back to, well, when I was starting games, like, I wasn't healthy. I didn't feel like myself. So I don't even know if I got a great feel about how my stuff plays at this level. So it'll be interesting to see as he builds up, like, can he get his fastball back to where it needs to be, both velocity and command-wise consistently? And can he just have, some other pitch that moves right to left that can keep right-handed hitters a little bit more honest? But the talent, as we saw in the postseason, is still very much there. And the Dodgers are going to give him a lot of runway and a lot of opportunities to prove that he can take that and translate it into being a more effective big league starter.
Are the Dodgers going to go 162-0 this year like everyone thought they were going to?
Well, they started 8-0 last year, and it kind of felt like, a slim possibility. I think
who's their biggest competition this year? I mean, they were literally this close from losing the World Series last year.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that probably gets missed or forgotten when you're talking, like, at this point of the year when you're looking at the roster and going, like, how is this team going to be beat? There were times last year offensively they were really inconsistent. You saw some of their veteran guys are getting to places in their career where if they're not 100% physically, if they're dealing with some small nagging injuries, or even just like, over time, right? Like your body changes, your swing changes, some of the things you would do in the cage or mental cues or mechanical tweaks that would work in the past don't quite work as well anymore. And I think for the Dodgers, like, one of the things that is going to be important under the hood this year is kind of figuring out a more consistent offensive identity as a team. Because when guys were not at their best, right, when Mookie Betts was struggling and Freddie Freeman was struggling, Teoscar Hernandez was dealing with injuries, I think you saw some issues in just like their team-wide approach at times where they were just too easy of outs at different points, especially in the postseason. So those are the little things that over the course of a year I think can pop up and give them some challenges. But it's also a team that has a lot of experience, obviously, that really likes playing together, that has a good culture, and that I think the Dodgers' hope is when they do meet those moments of adversity this year where they're not 100% healthy or the lineup's scuffling a little bit, they're gonna be able to lean on last year's experience when they had to overcome that, and be a little bit more prepared to avoid those stretches of inconsistency that put them in some tough spots in the second half of the season in the World Series. But again, like you look around the rest of baseball, their margin for error is just so much bigger than everybody else's that it's hard to start doing the hypothetical game of, okay, well, like who could beat them? Like if they're playing their best, they're going to be really tough to beat.
They just can't struggle at the same time. They just have to stay healthy, not struggle at the same time. Thank you so much, Jack. We appreciate it very much. Guys, don't forget you can check out Jack's work on the California Post. Now it is time for BetMGM. All right, we are checking out BetMGM's World Series line movement. The open date began on October 31st. So if you take a look at it, guys, that was back on October 31st, the last day of the month. And here it is right now. So the Dodgers went from plus 350 to plus 225. The Blue Jays plus 1,800 to plus 1,300. The O's from plus 3,500 to plus 2,200. Todd, I know you love this stuff. What do you make of the line movement, and which one of the three do you buy into the most?
Yeah, I think they're so very hard to understand why these BetMGM people, I don't know their name, but Vegas, why they decide to move lines left and right. There's a whole big algorithm, AI, whatever it is, but I don't know how you can go wrong with not picking the Dodgers. I picked the World Series winner the last 2 years on this show, and I'm more leaning towards the same team I picked last year. I don't want to give it away. It's pretty simple. It's pretty much on the board, but yeah, their team is stacked, man, from top to bottom. Even if a guy goes down, there's still somebody there. The Blue Jays, love everything that they did. Great pickups this offseason. Dylan Cease, I love everything that they're doing. And the Orioles, you think about the one big guy that they got, Pete Alonso. That guy could spark plug a team. He's a happy-go-lucky dude. They're missing a couple teams in there, but again, for me, I think the Dodgers are the easiest pick if you're looking for another World Series winner. I don't see how you can go wrong with picking the Dodgers.
All right, TF. So who are they missing? You said there's a couple of teams that they're missing. Who would you put on this board as far as some decent odds to win that World Series?
Well, for one, I'm pretty biased, but I would say the Yankees have an outside chance of winning the World Series too as well once they get healthy. And the Brewers, we just talked about them. I mean, there's a team right there with Pat Murphy, who's on the right path, who has an opportunity to, not only get to the National League NLCS, but, maybe make some noise. So we'll see what happens there.
What do you think about these lines?
I mean, I think they're about right. I think the Dodgers are far and away the favorite, again, to win this World Series. But Todd mentioned teams are missing. We're the Mets. We're the White Sox, by the way, BetMGM. I heard the other day, they said there's no limit to what they could do. We're here in Camelback Ranch. We're the Whites. This is the home of the White Sox, and they're not on the board. I don't understand why they're not on the board.
What would those odds be right now for the White Sox?
I don't know. That's
Plus
what we need to ask our
10,000.
friends.
I was going to say plus.
Seriously, on a serious note, where are the Mets? Phillies aren't up there, right? Those are a couple teams that have been pretty good, done some stuff this offseason. Cubs you can put on there.
I never feel like you can count the Phillies out.
The Phillies and Mets. I mean, Phillies, I agree, because they still have, when Wheeler comes back, they have Nola. They still have Sanchez, right? They have Luzardo. Their lineup is still intact, pretty much. I think the Phillies should be in there. The funny part is, it's National League.
National League has been the toughest league the last
right?
couple
I mean,
of
there's no
years.
Tigers who we expect to run away with the AL Central on the board. The Orioles, you can make a case.
We expected that last year, too, and then you see what the Guardians did after the Tigers
Guardians
had the collapse.
Right? The Reds, Todd's Reds aren't on there, and they made the playoffs last year, and they went out and did some stuff this offseason, right?
Mhm.
But, I mean, we put the Orioles up there. They're probably fourth-place team. You could make a case they could be the fourth-place team in the AL
I
East.
still don't think the Orioles have enough pitching. Westberg is hurt now again.
But that's what I'm
Get a
saying. If you
partial
go
tear.
Yankees, Red
Astros.
Sox,
What about the
Blue Jays,
Astros?
I'm saying just AL East.
Oh, yeah.
Red
Yeah.
Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays, and then you can make a case where the Orioles could finish fourth in that division.
That is true.
And then you go and if you go around the American League, Astros,
Mhm.
Mariners, Rangers. I mean, the Dodgers are the clear favorite. And even at plus 225,
225, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not a terrible bet, Todd. That's really not a terrible bet.
No,
Now, if you
no.
give me the Dodgers or the field, give me that number, and I'll take the field. Just
Oh,
because.
see, I would still take the Dodgers.
But the number is going to be a lot bigger, and you get 29 chances.
That's true. That's that more bang for your buck. That's why I would take them.
Alana's so mad at me right now.
I'm not.
She's just so mad because I brought up the White Sox. See, the problem with Alana is she's never gone past. There's a pond here on the Dodgers
That's
side.
not true. I've been to the White Sox facility.
He's never been over there.
I've
There's a
been to the
lake
White
right
Sox
there that
facility.
divides them. Well, it
Last
doesn't
year
really
I was
divide
with
them.
you.
I
was
remember.
with you with the
I
White
remember.
Sox
I was with the
last
Sox.
year.
I remember.
Yeah, right. So on the Dodgers side, there's palm trees and there's a big lake, right? And then as soon as you cross that lake and it shows the White
It's
Sox
just
sign,
barren.
it's just desert.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, there's no trees, there's no shade,
No
it's just
grapefruit
desert.
trees.
Nothing.
You're burning up.
Listen, Linda.
One day,
Don't hate us because you hate us.
listen. One day, Alana, you'll cross over the lake and you'll see what real baseball is like. It's where the grinders live.
Okay. All right. Whether you're watching the action on the field, the court, or the ice, you want to remember the most exciting moments long after the final whistle. Betting with boosted odds can get you started on that journey. Activate your odds boost token on any sports bet and you'll receive a bigger payout, y'all. If you grab your token and elevate your excitement with BetMGM, gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. There is help. Let's hit the hot corner. Oftentimes it is said that they will have to rip the jersey off of your back before you guys are ready to give it up. Freddie Freeman kind of has a timeline. Fabian Ardaya, who writes for The Athletic, covers the Dodgers. Freeman, again, today floated the idea of playing 4 more years, which would lead him to retire at age 40 after 20 big league seasons. He said this yesterday during his press conference. Didn't want to openly campaign for another contract. He's signed through 2027, but added he would like for it to come in Los Angeles. So, AJ, he has a two more years left on his deal here. And then, of course, he did say that yesterday. He was not going to talk about a new contract, didn't want to talk about an extension as of yet. But he would like to finish his career, guys, as a Los Angeles Dodger. Do you think that happens?
I hope it does. But then, Alana, comes the real question. Does he go into
in
the Hall of Fame as a Dodger or a Brave?
He goes in as a Dodger.
He won a World Series in Atlanta.
He has 2 with LA, and he's going to have 2 more.
You're such a Dodgers lover.
He's going to have 2 more before he goes into
So in the next
Hall
2
of
years,
Fame.
he's going to win 2 more?
He's going to be here for another 4. I do believe they will sign him to
Okay.
another contract to finish his career here.
If he gets 4, then yes, he definitely goes in.
He's going in as – I don't think he goes in as a Brave because the Braves didn't bring him back.
Okay, I also remember playing with him with the Braves, and all he wanted and all he ever said was, I just want to win a World Series like you've done, and now he's got 3. So, Freddie, I don't feel sorry for you at all. So, don't give me that anymore.
I really believe he goes in as a Dodger.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, if he's got a chance to get to 3,000 hits, and he's going to play until he's 40. I made it till I was turning 40 in the offseason that year. So, good for Freddie, man. If he can do this and keep playing at the level he's done, as long as he stays healthy, his family wants him to do it. He lives right there in California. He's from right there in California. He loves it in California. So good for you, Freddie. If you can do this, go get him, buddy.
And Todd, he said yesterday during the press conference that he was very irked that his batting average last season did not start with a 3. And he said, and I asked him, how irked were you? And he said that it really bothered him because if he's hitting 300, it means he's getting on base. It means he's driving his teammates in. And while we may not pay a lot of attention or put a lot of value in batting average anymore, it matters to him. So an opportunity for him to have a kind of a comeback year. Obviously, he was very banged up last year. So a comeback season offensively for him. And he's still chasing 3,000 hits.
Yeah, and I before I go on, I want to go back to that 40 comment. I just turned 40. I can't see myself playing more than a week in any sport. Listen, I don't know how these guys do it. I mean, a week might be pushing it because I know the next day I'm going to be in trouble. But, yeah, I mean, I love that about him. It did irk him. I think anybody would take what he has done even when he's injured. I never batted over 300. I think 273 was the highest I ever did. Guys don't understand. Average with guys that are older are big, are key. I still think it's something that needs to be blown up a little bit more. I believe if you have a good batting average, what does that mean? For one, you're getting on base. For two, you're helping your team out. And for three, power numbers are probably in there too. So for most people, so for that, love that about him. I hope he gets over 300 next year. I hope he stays healthy. He's great for the game. I would love to see him play until he's 40. I think that would be fantastic. And I don't think he's going to slow down, man. He's big in stature. He works hard. His swing is beautiful. Everything about him. Maybe the defense a little bit, but I just think the way he goes, and if he stays healthy, he's going to be pretty good for a couple more years.
Todd, do you think he finishes his career as a Dodger? Do you think the Dodgers, find a way to give him those extra 2 years so he can finish his career here?
I do. Just on the fact they brought Clayton Kershaw back, I think it's one of those things where if you produce and you have fun and fans love you and the brass likes you, which we've seen, I think ultimately, why wouldn't you bring him out? He's a team guy. He's a leader. And you don't see that, AJ. You don't see that too often anymore either. Clubs don't like the older guys around. They want this young crop coming up. And Freddie will teach these young kids the rights and wrongs and everything else that goes unseen during baseball season.
Well, Freddie Freeman is certainly becoming a big fabric of what the Los Angeles Dodgers have done over the course of the last few years. A guy that knows a little bit about being in the fabric of this organization. 1988 World Series champion, 1988 World Series MVP, Orel Hershiser, the Bulldog, joining us now. It's always good to see you. I love you to death. Thanks so much for being here. This is such a fun club to be around. And Dave Roberts specifically asked you, Orel, you guys met up in the offseason. He specifically wanted you to be here to kind of teach some of the arms and just kind of talk to these guys. What's camp been like for you?
It's been a lot of fun. It's really a special time when you come back and the players they know me from the television broadcast, but they don't know me. I don't spend a lot of time down around the cage. I don't spend a lot of time in the locker room, but it was nice. Like at the parade this last year, players are coming up to me going, "We want to see you more. We want to see you more." And
they're lying to you, Orel.
I know.
They see you enough. What are you talking about?
Like, I didn't even know you were going to talk. I thought this segment was just me and Alanna.
I know. I'm just here for my looks.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I actually remember you as a Cleveland Indian, so I don't know what the heck we're talking about all this Dodger stuff for.
If you got any hits off of me, that's when I was like old and almost washed up.
I just remember Kirk Gibson in 1988. I don't remember. You pitched that series?
Yeah, I did barely.
Oh, okay.
I did barely. Don't you remember Game 2?
No, I only remember Game 1 because I just remember
you weren't even born yet.
Yes, I was born. I was 11.
You were 11.
I was 11.
Okay. Well, okay.
I remember you get that.
You got 3 hits in a game, right? Yeah, I did in Game 2 in the World Series.
Oh, my. He's killing you.
But I'm like this, though. I've never lost a World Series game.
So you're making the Bulldog come out. And so this IFB comes out every time you talk. I wonder why.
You only need that for Todd. You don't need that for me.
Alanna, you asked me why I came to camp or if I came to camp or where I came to camp.
No, you said everyone wanted to see you more.
He was such a gentleman down in the lobby because he goes,
Rick was around.
Will you come up? We're in the conference room on the second floor. We're doing the show from 11 to 1. I go, well, I got something at 11, but I'll try and come up there. And I come up here before 12. And I come up here for this business. You have never left the locker room.
But no, I don't. Why would I? Trust me, my wife tells me that all the time.
Oh, my God.
But
my wife says she never wants to see the Bulldog.
I want to know.
Don't show me the Bulldog.
I know what you were doing is you filmed a commercial. We don't need to get into it. But are you going to dance again? Because every time I watch a Dodger game, it's you dancing.
So it's really exciting because we just bought a new dealership, and it's going to be Orel Hershiser Chevrolet.
Can I get a free car?
We'll get you a good deal.
What about Joe?
In Chino, right?
It's in Chino. It's going to be exciting.
Guys.
So
Orel Hershiser
Chevrolet. Yeah, we're getting there. Right now it's called MK Smith, but we're going through all the paperwork and stuff to get the name changed.
Should have named
we're
it Bulldog Chevy.
Hey, nobody knows who's going to come to Bulldog Chevy. Maybe Orel's got a little better ring there in Los Angeles right now. But camp's been great, Alanna. Back to your question.
Wait, you're in uniform, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be in uniform anytime I'm here. I'm just in street clothes today because this is the day I'm going back to L.A. We have a card store named Legends Attic in Claremont, and we're having a card rip with Topps on Saturday night. So I got to go back for that. I've got some other Dodger responsibilities, and I'll be back here in camp March 2nd through about the 12th. And then go back after the 12th and get ready for the season, which starts the 25th is the day before opening day. That's when we might have the grand opening of the car dealership, even though we still own it now. And then the 26th, we open at the stadium.
You're so busy.
It's fun. It's so much fun. And camp has been great because guys asking me, we want to see you more. Then Dave Roberts saying, hey, Orel, you're one of us. Put the uniform on and come to spring training. Come as long as you want, stay as short as you want, do whatever you want. And, they've started to open up to me. It's so much fun. I don't need this. Hopefully you guys back there aren't going to talk to me.
Okay.
So
if Todd has a question, he'll just ask me. And
ask you and ask. But the camp has been great. I've worked with Blake Trinan. I've worked a little bit with Tanner Scott. I've worked a little bit and talked to Edwin Diaz.
Tell them
all
the
different
story
guys.
about Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz, I'm watching one of the young guys' side works, and Edwin is doing his shadows on the side and just going through his delivery, his posture, his first movement of his leg kick, and then he finishes with doing 4, 5, or 6 deliveries full out, kind of like Clayton Kershaw used to do every day, doing his shadows. And he comes over and just leans next to me, next to the fence, and just is one of the most wonderful human beings ever. So down to earth. We talked about family. We talked about faith. We talked about all different things. We talked about his year, his health, the length of his career, why he's not scared of 4 to 6 to 7 days off because he knows how to figure it out and repeat and just play catch. I said, what's your top year in saves? He said 57. I said, you'll be lucky to get 30 here because they're going to score so many runs. And, you're going to have to get used to pitching with a 4 and 5 run lead sometimes in a non-situation. He's like, I can't wait. I love this organization. And just an unbelievable human being and great person.
But you also said that he must take it up a notch because there has to be some sort of bulldog in him, right?
Yeah, he's so down to earth and such a lovable guy that his game face has got to be completely different. And I can't wait to hear his walk-up song in Dodger Stadium and hear those fans go crazy.
All right, Todd has a question. He's going to ask so we can see his pretty face. No. I'll just relay it to you.
All right, go ahead. Hi, pretty face.
Dude, first of all, you're on a heater today, and I'm all for it. Keep that vibe, big dog. I love it.
All right. All right.
My question to you is about the pitching now. Like, listen, it's totally different. Guys are throwing 95 plus. Their off-speed pitches are absolutely devastating. Can you just explain to us why it's so different? I mean, listen, you guys had your pitchers, you included, that could throw hard, but it was few and far between. Now it's absolutely unbelievable to see. What do you think the change is?
Well, I think from 10 years old or whenever, when they have a great arm, they're asked to continue to try and throw as hard as they can. And so they understand that's the way to get a college scholarship. That's the way to get to the travel leagues and be one of the top guys. That's the way to get drafted. That's the way to get a lot of money. But once they become pros, I wish they would start concentrating on repeating their delivery and just knowing they can throw hard, because I'd rather have a pitch now at 94 with movement and location than 97 straight and can't hit the broadside of a barn. And I think we have a lot of throwers in the game, but I think we found out that the best of the best have great arms, can spin the baseball, can change speeds, and can hit spots. And those are the guys that win the Cy Young. Those are the guys that pitch with no day's rest and come out and win a World Series like Yamamoto. I think the industry's at a place where they love hard and they love velocity. But I think ultimately the best pitchers are still going to be ones that use the whole game and every tool.
All right. Well, how hard did you throw?
88 to 92 on the old gun.
So since you got on me, now it's my turn.
Go ahead.
Was it harder when you got the little grease off your forehead?
No, that was hair gel. That was hair gel.
Oh, hair gel.
That was sticky.
Oh, okay.
So what I would do.
So you could have thrown 93 with the spider tack?
Same kind of hair gel. And then I would take a cup of water and pour it over my head. And then the sweat drips down, and then all you had to do is touch the sweat, and it was just a little bit of stickiness. And then if it got too sticky, you would grab the rosin bag. The rosin bag was actually make your hand a little slippery and dry it.
Yeah.
But what the sweat was, activator. And we weren't allowed to go to our mouth, but we knew a lot of guys that went to their mouth off the dirt, right?
Yep.
Wet their fingers, plant it on the back of their thumb, fake wipe, and then reload.
Oh, yeah.
You know those guys.
Best was after, remember that one time? Yeah, at one time they said, Todd, I remember when they said they can go to their mouth, but they had to wipe their.
They had to wipe.
So they'd go.
Yeah.
And then they just fake wipe down their pants. You're like, he didn't even touch his fingers. He just for 5 seconds.
There's some, I look at the rules today, and I look at the pitchers being checked as they come off, and I look at how sticky is too sticky, because they are allowed to have a little tack on their hands, because I've heard umpires say, I had to kick him out, or I had to make him wash his hands because that was too sticky. So you're admitting there
Matt
is
Scherzer,
something.
it wasn't in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
They said it was too sticky. Go wash your hands. The MLB person
And then
washed
he
them.
Yeah.
blew up.
And then it was too sticky when he came back out. And he's like, they just did it for me.
Right. Because he probably tried to wipe it off with like alcohol, and alcohol
Makes it
will
stickier. With
makes
rosin.
it stickier,
You had rosin on it.
and it brings it out of your pores. Because
Yeah.
any product is in, like moisturizer or anything can be in your pores. You know what? I think they should just rub the baseballs up with a slight stickiness to them that doesn't increase the spin rate where it makes it really hard to hit in that optical illusion fastball, and then just go with that. Because hitters in our generation, and maybe yours, they didn't want us to lose the ball or have it slip out. It would get hit, and they were scared, especially on the cold days or the beginning of the season. So it's like, hey, grip it all you want. They didn't know.
Just don't make it obvious.
We didn't know spin rate was,
Just don't make it up. I played
So you mean don't put
Michael
a ball on your hand and have it just stick there?
Michael Pineda, when he was at the Yankees one year, it was freezing, and we faced him, and his whole hand was covered in pine tar.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay. And then the next time he pitched, it was all over his neck. We had to call him on. We're like,
Yeah.
look, we don't care if you do it. Just don't make it look that bad.
I remember that.
That was bad.
That was crazy. Yeah.
I want to bring out the Bulldog a little bit here.
Oh no.
You're on the mound right now. You got Shohei Ohtani in the box. How do you?
I'm not
pitch
telling you
against
how I would get him out. Come on. Are you
All right,
serious?
all
I
right.
like my paycheck.
All right, forget about him. Give me Aaron Judge. How you getting Aaron?
How about
Judge out?
Ichiro? Aaron Judge.
Actually, you threw hard enough. Remember the Czech guy that struck out Shohei last time in the WBC?
Yeah.
He was throwing 75.
Yeah, it's below hitting speed.
That's right. He couldn't hit it.
Go
There you-
below hitting speed.
There you go. Whoa.
I mean, we've seen how people pitch Shohei. We've seen him. They say, okay, let's pitch him up and in, and then go back foot breaking ball. When he stays within the strike zone and can see the pitch early enough that it's trying to be strike to ball, he's unstoppable. He has a 3 home run game and pitches against the Brewers in 7 innings and strikes out 10 and has one of the best postseason performances ever. So. There's great hitters are going to get their hits. Sandy Koufax used to tell me, get the people out you're supposed to get out, and then the other guys are going to get their hits. With the key hitters, just keep them in the park, limit the damage.
Do you think you could have done what Yama did last season in the World Series?
I did it in the National League playoffs in '88 against the Mets, but I only had to come in with bases loaded, 2 out, and get 1 out. But for him to continue on, he knows how to line up the bones so that even if the muscles are tired or the connective tissue is getting a little sore, he's lining up his bones with the great lever system and using it efficiently. And I'm just glad he's healthy, because that's really hard to do what he did.
What do you mean line up the bones?
Well, the bones, like the stick figures in biomechanic labs, the bones are being judged of how they move. So when you line up like your weight shift and it goes down into your shin bone, that goes down into your foot bone, down in the instep, that's lining it up efficiently with your knee, which then lines up your hip efficiently, which then lines up your turns to separate so that you have the X factor to catapult the baseball, compared to swinging like an open gate where the hip and the shoulder go at the same time. And they go at the same time if you don't set the lower half up correctly, because if you set the lower half up correctly, then everything above that can reach its full potential. But if you set the lower half up incorrectly, then everything in the upper half is adjusting for the mistakes the lower half in the first movement did. So lining up the bones is lining up your body and learning your mechanics to a point where this is how it can most efficiently work with the least amount of stress, the most amount of strength, and the most amount of efficiency to do the thing you want to do. Swing the bat, throw the ball, catch the grounder, catch the pitcher behind the plate, and block the ball. You line up the bones.
Hip bones connected to the knee bone to the shin. That's that old song we used to sing in elementary school.
Your next career is going to be amazing.
Paul Skeens. We got to ask you about Paul Skeens. I'm sure you've seen him pitch. Does he remind you of anybody when you were in the game? That young, being that good?
Well, not really that young, being that good, but
Dwight, maybe Doc.
Yeah, but Doc was thinner and more athletic. He's more like an Andy Bennis of our time. Big, strong, thicker kind of guy. And I love the fact that he's heavier and thicker and stronger, because that is taking away the shock that's going to go up the arm and the elbow and the shoulder, where he's going to be that strong. A right-handed CC Sabathia, I don't know, big, strong guy that really, I don't know, who'd you catch that would look like him?
I never seen anybody look like him. thought that was a starter. I mean, Bobby Jenks, but he was a one-inning guy.
Yeah, exactly. Starter that can carry that kind of weight and be that. Don Drysdale probably, if you go way back, or, or J.R. Richards and all those guys. I know. I watched them on film too. I was barely living too.
You know, they didn't have VCRs back then, no?
Yeah, I know. I had to ask Fred Clare, our general manager back in the day, for $10,000 to get a couple of TVs and a couple of VCRs and move some clubbies out of a little closet room so that we could have our first television room. And all that was on was like Thursday night baseball and from Pittsburgh, and I was hoping I was pitching against the Pirates soon because I finally had a tape on them. We'd had nothing as far as TV, and now we break down every at-bat. You probably could, right here, you could line it up.
So does that make the game harder when you pitch or harder now because there's so much information?
I don't know if I would sleep in this generation as far as knowing everything that's out there. I think the main key now is you have all the information, is that who can process it and who can handle it and who can still be an athlete with all that brain power around them or somebody telling them what to do from the catcher's notes. It's interesting. I think you have to scout yourself as much now or more now because your tendencies are known by everybody. And so you can't follow that pattern all the time. You've got to be like a poker player and know when to hold them, when to fold them, and switch back and forth to be a mystery.
These two play poker. Orel plays poker.
No, Todd's good. I'm not good. I'm all in.
Todd loves him some poker.
I can't. I don't have the patience. I just all in. I'm in.
I haven't played for about a year, Todd, and all the other things I'm doing are taking over. But poker is so much fun.
It is, for sure.
It's for me, it's like pitching because it's like, what's the scoreboard? What's going on? What did I do with this hitter before? Does he get fearful after a knockdown pitch? Can I go away now? And poker's the same thing. Where am I? What's the pot? What's going on in their stack? What's going in my stack? How did I play against them? Are they going to be scared of the turn card? Are they going to, it's just like kind of pitching.
All body language too.
A little bit of that and micro expressions.
Todd finished in the money in the Reds Fest tournament last year.
Really? Way to go.
Yeah, the 900, I came in 14th. I'll take it. It wasn't bad.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you know what it's like at the end on tournaments. It's a lot of coin flips.
Oh yeah. And then you don't have that. You don't have enough. You got two hands to go in,
Right.
So,
yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
All good.
You got this thing called the M. So you take your stack, you take where you are, how the blinds are going and what's going on, and you come up with an M factor. And that M factor, depending on what number it ends up being, tells you how aggressive you need to be with your starting cards. I knew he'd love that. He'd love that.
I'm like, hey, just because my son played at Orel Hershiser Field doesn't mean I understand what you're talking about, okay?
Yeah. First Baptist Church.
That's right. First Academy.
Orel
Hershiser Field.
Well, now he's about to have a dealership.
The Hirsch. They called it the Hirsch.
The Hirsch.
The Hirsch. Now he's about to have a dealership.
It's going to be fun. I love being with you guys. This is fun.
I
should get
in
the media.
Deals? Do you come in? Do you come in and you sit there and say Todd wants to come in and buy a new Chevy? Do you negotiate with him? Do you say, Todd?
No.
I just can't give you that lease for that much.
Don't talk to my manager.
I put it into AI, and my brand should not be associated with price. I should just be associated with trust and make sure people come in and get what they want and are happy with it. So I'm really about service and the personality of the dealership. I'll let everybody else do the selling of the cars.
AJ.
March 25th, I hope. We're getting hope. Please, Mr. GM, okay the name change so we can have the grand opening March 25th.
He's like, you remember the movie Little Giants when the coach, what's his name, would sign the football after he bought a car and give it to him. The guy Al Bundy.
Yeah.
I forget his
Al
name,
Bundy. Yeah. Al Bundy. Ed O'Neill. Ed O'Neill. That's who it is. Yes.
Wait, he can't travel, or is he just like special guest today?
Yeah,
is he a homebody?
Yes, he's from New Jersey.
Hey,
we can only have one New Jersey person per crew.
So we only signed a Zoom contract with him.
Exactly.
Got you for cheap, huh? Hey, I'll do Zoom.
Man. Hey, when you're big time like me, I'll stay in Jersey.
You are a great power hitting low ball hitter. I would have had to go strength against you because I've seen you take the ball 6 inches below the knees and just still lift it and hit it out.
Well, thank you very much.
You could really hit. You could really hit.
Orel, thank you. We appreciate it. Best of luck with everything. I always love the stories. I've learned so much from you over the course of my career. We appreciate it. Don't forget, guys, we're sitting down with Dave Roberts exclusive here after Foul Territory. Myself, Clint Pasillas, Katie Wu. Dave's going to sit down. He's going to talk about Game 1, 6, and 7 specifically of the 2025 World Series, and then we are going to flip the page to 2026 to talk about how this club does it again. All right, coming up, additions and subtractions. Let's talk about that. Spring Training Tour brought to you by Fastenal. Learn more, of course, at Fastenal.com. They are our sponsor for all of spring training. AJ's throwing water bottles across the set here. So we're very, very serious people here.
I was trying to hit Michael, but he wasn't paying attention.
All right, season preview. Here we go. All right, key additions to the Los Angeles Dodgers, gentlemen. Of course, Kyle Tucker, Edwin Diaz, arguably two of the biggest free agents that were available. The Dodgers landed them both. Kike Hernandez, it was a foregone conclusion. He was coming back. He'll be back in a couple of months. Evan Phillips, probably midseason. Miguel Rojas, of course, World Series champion. Here's some losses, though. A lot of bullpen guys. Michael Kopech, Kirby Yates, Tony Gonsolin, another bullpen guy. Probably the biggest loss, in my opinion, of course, is Clayton Kershaw, who was lost due to retirement. Anthony Banda is now a member of the Minnesota Twins. Todd, we'll start with you. Is there a reason, other than health, is there a reason that this team won't three-peat?
No, there is no reason. That's the only reason that they won't three-peat at the end of the day. I mean, listen, we haven't even talked about Edwin Diaz. I mean, he's the most prolific closer there is. I mean, I'd put him next to Aroldis Chapman, those two guys from the left and right side. This team has every single detail perfected. They got the guys that they wanted. And for them, God willing for them, if they stay healthy, they're going to be just fine. They're going to go through lulls. They did last year through the season. But when it's go time, they find ways to win, and they should cruise through this MLB season.
AJ, what was the biggest addition in your opinion?
I mean, I think Diaz.
Yeah.
Remember what they had to do at the end of last season. I mean, Tanner Scott was supposed to be the guy, right? He struggled, had some injury problems, and then at the end they had Roki as their closer. They used Yamamoto to close. Now they have Edwin Diaz. When Sugar's right, he's as good as it gets. But I'm looking at their depth chart. So their rotation: Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Shohei, River Ryan, Gavin Stone, Roki, depending on what they do with him, Emmett Sheehan, and Robleski. So that's 9 or 10 starters deep, right? Then you go Diaz, Trinan, Tanner Scott, who said he's made some adjustments, Vesia, who was great for him last year, if you remember, Will Klein, Robleski, again, can just be a starter or a long guy. I mean, the pitching's disgusting. And then you go Will Smith, Dalton Rushing, catcher. Dalton Rushing would be starting on probably 20 other teams, right? Then you go Freddie, Tommy Edman at second base, or Miggy Rowe. Third base is Max Muncy, right? We're showing it. Mookie Betts at shortstop. Teoscar, Andy Pages, Kyle Tucker. We didn't even mention Alex Call, Kike Hernandez. I mean, it's a plethora of just riches.
When you have this much talent, though, then you start to nitpick, right? Because let's nitpick the lineup. Are you okay, Todd? We'll start with you. Are you okay with the lineup order? Okay, you figure to have Shohei leading off. Dave Roberts has already said that Kyle Tucker was probably going to hit in the 2-hole, so that moves Mookie to the 3-hole. And then you have Freddie, Will, Max, Teoscar, who looks great, by the way. He legitimately has lost some weight and looks good, muscle, all the things. Andy Pages, and then Ha-Seong Kim, because Tommy Edman, of course, is not going to start the season healthy. Ha-Seong Kim figures to be probably getting the most reps at second base until Edman comes back. So we're splitting hairs here at this point.
Yeah,
Do you like this lineup construction?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I was looking at the whole thing, and I'm trying to go left, right, but you can't do that with Freddie Freeman. And actually, yeah, excuse me. That's how we kind of did it here. I would have liked to see. I mean, putting Kyle in the second spot. Maybe if we're splitting hairs here, maybe have him bat fourth and move Mookie up one. I don't know. I think you put them in any spot, they're going to be fine with Will Smith and Teoscar and Muncy behind them. We'll see how the bottom two do. Pages is pretty good. A little more consistent from him. I think they'll be fine. And Kim, we don't know. So we'll see how the season goes on. But again, you can nitpick. You can start with one and then see how the season goes out. Maybe we need to move this guy up to let him see better pitches. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But if you're the Dodgers, you're not damned at all.
Pull that great line.
Yeah, true. Pull that line up again. Can we pull that lineup up again?
I got it. If you need it, don't you worry.
No, I want, because it has the OPS pluses on the side, which is what I was going to talk about. By the way, remember Teoscar down year 103 is better than average. Mookie down year 104 better than average. Freddie said he had a crappy year, 141 OPS plus. Right? Max Muncy 136 OPS plus. Kyle Tucker missed a bunch of time, 143. Everyone said he sucked the second half.
And Hesson Kim didn't get enough at bats, in my opinion.
That's whatever. But they'll set him up for the right at bats against lefties, righties, whatever. Yeah. So I mean, he's there for defense and speed, right? So this lineup is crazy. It's crazy. I don't know, as a catcher, this was like, to me, this would have been like facing the Yankees of the early 2000s when they had those teams with Jeter, Bernie, Sheffield, Posada, and then you got into the mid 2000s when they had, again, Jeter, Damon, Tex, A-Rod. You were like, how do I get through these?
Too many power hitters, not enough ball to bat guys?
For who? These guys?
For us.
Mookie puts the ball in play. Freddie puts the ball in play.
Okay.
Kyle Tucker puts the ball in play.
Okay.
Shohei strikes out fine. Will Smith puts the ball in play. Muncy strikes out fine. Teoscar strikes out fine. I mean, listen, they put the ball in play enough and they do enough damage that, are they going to have lulls? Sure. But they do enough damage and it's so deep. What they're counting on is eventually the pitcher's going to make a mistake. Will it come with somebody on base? And not every pitcher can go through 27 outs and be perfect. So they're just they're waiting on them mistakes, and boom, they're not.
Todd, how does Andy Pages take his game to the next level? Because you figure now the outfield is different. Teoscar's going back to left. You're going to have Kyle Tucker in right field, and Pages is in center. So how does he take his game to the next level?
He can just relax. And look at what he has in front of him. Like, listen, I got to be, if I'm speaking as Andy, I got to be myself. I can't worry about doing too much. I just got to go out there, produce, have a routine every day. Don't try and be Freddie Freeman. Don't try and be Shohei Ohtani or anybody else. Be myself. Take the base hit to right field. When you get that pitch that you can drive, make sure you drive it in the gap. Get the rally going so you can get back to the top of the lineup. And I think that's why he's down there, or eventually will be 7, 8, or 9, whatever it is, to get kick-started, to get Shohei back up there. So that's what they're looking for from him. If you're Andy, find a way to get on base. So Shohei, so Mookie, so Kyle, Freddie, they can all drive you in. He should have over 100 runs next year. No doubt about it. If he's getting on base, and this is a guy right now, we talked about batting average. Forget about batting average. Find a way to get that on-base percentage up. You'll have over 100 runs scored.
Yeah, get on base, score some runs. If you take a look at the projections in terms of standings in the National League West for wins, brought to you by Fangraphs, they, of course, have the Dodgers at the top of the division. I don't think that's a stretch by any stretch of the imagination. 99.5 wins is the projection by Fangraphs, followed by the Giants, actually, at 82.3 wins. The D-backs, 81.4. I think the Diamondbacks are going to be better than some people think. Padres at 79.5, and the Rockies, they actually have the Rockies winning 65 games, which I'll take the under on that.
I don't believe it.
I'll take the under on that. I mean, fair assessment here in terms. Is that where you'd pick teams in terms of rankings, not necessarily?
No, I think the Padres are going to be better than that, especially with Buehler and
you think Buehler makes the big league club?
Yeah, I think he does, because they have a lot of injuries already in their starting rotation. I think he's a great depth piece. They still have a great bullpen. Their lineup is better, I think, than what people give them credit for. I think the Padres are going to be better. And I think the Padres are in the 80s wins. I think the Diamondbacks are in the 80s. I think the Giants are too high, and the Rockies are definitely too high. Explain to me, Todd, how on earth the Rockies are not going to lose 100 games this year? Right now, that if you look at this, they're losing 97 games. How on earth are the Rockies in this division with the team they have assembled not going to lose 100 games? I can't figure this out. I mean, if I'm betting on this, if I'm going to BetMGM, my first bet is under on the Rockies every day and all day, because if it's 65.2 on BetMGM, it's under.
Well, this is why baseball is the hardest sport probably to bet on. It's frustrating. You can have Shohei Ohtani on the mound and you can lose to the Rockies 2-1. So that's why it's hard. I agree with you on all accounts, but again, they got to understand the numbers are going to be numbers. You can have a guy get hot and hit a couple home runs, and a pitcher all of a sudden look like Cy Young out there. But again, yeah, I see them losing over 100 games too as well. So this is going to be a tough one for them
I
to
don't know
get
if the
over
Dodgers,
the hump.
but I don't know if the Dodgers get to 100 wins either.
I don't think they do, but I don't think they need to.
They don't need to. They just need to get in the postseason.
Yeah,
that was the big thing. Oh, the Dodgers didn't have the most wins in baseball last year, and they just went out and won the World Series. So I just think it's really hard to win 100 games, especially for a team like the Dodgers that all they're about is getting to the postseason. They don't care how many games they win. They're just like, we're going to be in October. However, we have to get to October.
Their first order of business, win the division. Second order of business, get home field advantage.
Yeah, but they didn't have any of that last year. They had none of that last year. Where'd they win the World Series?
In Toronto.
Okay. They didn't have home field against the Brewers. How'd that work out?
They won.
They didn't have home field against the Phillies. How'd that work out?
I get it. The point is the first order of business is get out of camp healthy.
Yes, but then get to the postseason.
Win the division.
Yes.
Then get to the postseason.
I think the only order of business is to be healthy before the playoffs start. I think that's the only thing they got to worry about. It's gonna have every team. It's happening already. Somebody's gonna get injured. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and you'll see him in 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 or 5 months from now. So, just gotta be ready for game 1 of the playoffs.
If there is a need at the deadline, if we're gonna look at a crystal ball or pontificate here, if there is a need at the deadline, Todd, what is it for the Dodgers?
Man, I don't have it right now. I mean, again, we're pulling hairs here. I'm looking at the bottom of the lineup, but I really like Pages. I think he plays great. I think he's a good defender out there. They're not going to might not have the power down there. I don't know, man. It's just so hard. Listen, Max Muncy's a beast. He's a staple there. Like, what kind of year is he going to have? I think he's going to be productive. So I'm just trying to nitpick every little thing I can do here besides the top guys. But I don't think they're going to need anything. Maybe bullpen. I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah. AJ, how long is Pages' leash?
Long. Here's my thing. What are they going to need? They're going to need a bullpen arm because it helps. If you can go out and get a bullpen arm that can help you, whether it's a lefty or righty, they'll take it because every team always needs enough bullpen. And at some point, they're probably going to need a starter because someone's going to go down that they're not expecting, and it's just the nature of the game today. So I think those are the things. If we're nitpicking in July because we don't have crystal balls and we can't see farther ahead, but I think they're going to need a reliever like every other team in contention, and they'd like to get a starter like every other team in contention, Alanna.
Okay. Well, we're going to be right back. Ken Rosenthal is joining us momentarily after a quick word from our spring training tour sponsor.
Hey, when you're keeping the lights on for thousands or even millions, reliability isn't optional. Fastenal helps power generation teams stay running with the right parts, tools, and safety gear right where the work happens.
From turbine maintenance to everyday MRO needs, our local teams and on-site solutions keep your crews supplied, efficient, and safe. Fastenal, powering up productivity one plan at a time.
Want to learn more? Visit Fastenal.com for industrial supplies and innovative solutions. That's FASTENAL.com.
As always, we welcome in our Inside Scoop with our insider and friend, Ken Rosenthal. Ken, always good to be with you. It's been a crazy week, of course. What do you think, as the topic of conversation of our sport has been the shakeup within the Major League Baseball Players Association, what do you anticipate being maybe the biggest challenge or struggle, if you will, for the new interim executive director, Bruce Meyer?
Will be the same as it is for every executive director every time there is a negotiation, and that's just holding the union together. And as I wrote the other day, Bruce Meyer has been the number 2. He's like a bench coach moving up to manager, and you never know how that transition is going to go. If indeed he can be a leader in a grander way than he has been before. He, of course, has led negotiating teams. He has done other things in leadership capacities in the union, but this is bigger. And he has some challenges. I know the vote was unanimous, and obviously that's a good thing, but these votes always tend to be unanimous. And not everyone is a Bruce Meyer fan within the union. within the union offices. So he's going to need to keep that going. Now, his supporters would say, hey, man, it's unanimous. And he's come a long way in his 7.5 years with the union. And all that is true. But once this gets down to the nitty gritty, and once the negotiations start, and once the offers start flying back and forth, it will be a challenge, as it is for the other side as well, to keep the constituency together.
My question to you is, Ken, after all is said and done, you see more players now coming out and verbally talking more about, the situations, the salary caps, and what's going to happen 2027. Kind of like now the players, it seems like their voices are even more heard. So do you see them getting more involved with Bruce, or do you understand that, or is it just going to be Bruce Meyer taking over and just listening to what the players have?
Well, he'll always listen to the players, and that's what the job of the executive director is. And he has done and is doing right now outreach toward players. He's touring camps in Arizona, and it does seem that at this point, the players are galvanized, the owners are galvanized. We're 9 months away from negotiations, or at least the expiration of the CBA, and I would fully expect both sides to be talking as much as they want to talk, and talking tough. Again, once this all gets going, then we'll see how tough everyone is, and we'll see how this evolves. But if there's one positive to come out of this for the union, and it's something Chris Bassett mentioned to me the other day, he's a member of the executive subcommittee, it's that they feel like there's going to be more transparency now between the union and the players, that's been lacking before, and that's something that's come to the fore as this investigation of Tony Clark by the FBI has come to dominate their conversation, or at least enter their conversation. So they feel like this is going to get them to a better place, this transition to Bruce Meyer, and it might very well do that. Then they still have the owners to contend with, and the quest for a salary cap by management's side, and all of that.
Ken, now that this is done, Bruce Meyer has been elected. I know we have a bargaining negotiation coming up, CBA, in December. Can we stop talking about this? I mean, no. We can't, because Bruce is elected. The baseball starts today. Games start today. Can we stop, please? Can you? Maybe it's you. It's just you, Ken.
Well, we can stop talking about what's going on with the union. That was a story that dominated this week for obvious reasons, AJ. I'm sorry, spring training's going on, but the head of the union did resign. So we had to kind of cover that story. But what I thought you were getting at is, will we stop talking about labor for the next 9 months?
No, I know that's not happening.
It's going to be the backdrop to the entire season. And certainly there'll be plenty of baseball talk, as there should be. That's what we all love to talk about. But this is hanging over the sport right now. And there will be negotiations that begin at some point, probably after opening day. And we'll see how it goes. I don't expect much progress early on. I don't expect progress even before December 1st, because both sides are dug in, and here we go.
Ken, you were at Red Sox camp today in Florida, of course. What did you go in thinking? What did you want to find out? What's going on there?
I'm most curious about their offense and what it's going to look like without Rafael Devers, without Alex Bregman, without either of those players. And certainly they're very high on Roman Anthony, and he looks like he's going to be a superstar. They've brought in Contreras, and he, of course, is a productive offensive player, though he's getting older. It just seems to me that while Wilyer Abreu is a potentially dynamic offensive player, while Trevor Story can build off what he did last year, there are a lot of ifs there. It's not like David and Manny. It's not like Youkilis and Pedroia. It's not like any of those combinations. Not that Youkilis and Pedroia were dominant, but they were parts of a greater whole. And that's my concern with them, that they will not be able to hit enough. In my view, even with the addition of Chad Durbin from Milwaukee recently, they're still one bat short. And maybe that bat doesn't come until the deadline. Maybe the season starts and they're much better than people think. All of this is possible. But when I assess them, I love their rotation, obviously. They've done a great job building that, both with veterans that they've brought in and with the youngsters that they've developed. And their bullpen should be fine. Chapman certainly at the back end. But will they score enough runs? That is the question lingering over the Red Sox right now.
Ken, I'm glad you corrected yourself. It was Pierzynski and Pedroia. That was a great duo in Red Sox history. Forgot that one.
You're
So
right.
I just want to make sure that we correct you properly. I don't want people on Twitter to come after you. But what about Tristan Casas? You didn't mention him, and we've kind of talked about him, and he's kind of been there for years. Can he be a force that they need, whether it's DH or first base or whatever it is? Can he finally be healthy and be a force for them?
Well, that's a really good question. And he is healthy, and apparently he looks good. Of course, it's early. They're just playing their first exhibition game today against Northeastern University. But with Contreras coming aboard and with the 4 outfielders that they have for 3 spots, I don't really see a place for him right now. Now, of course, players get injured all the time. Tristan Casas has been the one getting injured at times. So maybe down the line, he does become a contributor to this team. We all know that it's not just 26 players that carry you through a season. But right now, I don't see a spot for him. I don't see a spot for Yoshida. I don't see a spot for Christian Campbell. They have some interesting pieces that are kind of surpluses for them. Christian Campbell is not somebody I would give up on. He could be part of their future. But they are a team that is a little bit top heavy, or actually just position player heavy, I should say, not top heavy, but just a surplus of position players does exist with this club. Could they still make a trade to maybe balance out the roster differently? Yes, they could. They could even trade a starting pitcher. They've talked about that. Patrick Sandoval, Brian Bayo. So right now, AJ, they're in a decent place. I don't know that they're in the place they're going to be even opening day and certainly at the deadline.
Is there anyone else at camp right now that you're seeing, maybe young or old, that you're like, oh, this guy right here, can't wait to watch him this year, maybe in a year or two, come up and go out and dominate for the Red Sox? Or somebody that's in camp now that's like, we haven't really brought up his name yet. This is a dude.
The 2 left-handers, Peyton Tolley and Connor Early, those guys are interesting pitchers, to say the least. And it seems to me that while they might not be part of the equation initially for the Red Sox, we saw them both last year. It's Connolly Early, by the way, and they were both good. So those 2 guys intrigue me. Campbell still intrigues me. At this time last year, they were talking about him as a starting second baseman, one of the best young hitters you're going to see, all that. And all of a sudden, he's not that anymore, at least the way this thing has evolved. So they do have young talent, and it's interesting young talent. They've got more coming. So yes, Todd, certainly there are some guys you can look at there and say he might break out this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now I want to jump to a manager, Pat Murphy, as we all know and love, great guy. He just signed a new, 3-year contract extension? Is that what we call it?
It's actually a contract, Todd. It's a reworked part of his last year. They reworked that, gave him 2 more years.
I knew I would screw that one up. That's why you're here.
Right.
Talk a little bit about him and what the Brewers thought, getting a guy like Pat Murphy was the biggest thing to do, especially to sign him for 3 more years.
Well, it's so interesting to me, Todd, with the Brewers, they take pieces away all the time, and yet they still remain strong. Who am I talking about? Josh Hader, Corbin Burns, Willie Adames, Craig Counsell. When Craig Counsell left a couple of years ago, a lot of us thought this could be a turning point for them in a bad way. They elevated Pat Murphy from the bench coach role. He had managed in San Diego way back, kind of on an interim basis, didn't get that job. And he was a bench coach. And I mentioned before with Bruce Meyer, the bench coach becoming a manager. It's always an unusual transition. But obviously, Murphy has done quite well. Back-to-back National League Manager of the Year. And last year, the Milwaukee Brewers, this small market team in a sport where small market teams can't possibly succeed, won 97 games, most in the majors. So he's done a tremendous job there. There's no doubt about it. He has a little bit of a different style than some managers. He's more gregarious, perhaps, but he challenges those players to play a certain way. They do that. Yelich plays a big role in helping him establish the tone there. And really, it made a lot of sense for them to get this done and keep him in place because he is a big part of their success in the last couple of years.
I always knew you worked for Rob Manfred with your small markets can't succeed, Ken. So it's good to hear you finally admitting it. I appreciate that. We all of our people out here, we really do appreciate it.
Actually, that. AJ, if you're listening, AJ and Rob Manfred and everybody else you might be talking about, the small market argument is one that the owners and Mr. Manfred are arguing against. So that when I say the Milwaukee Brewers won 97 games, it's contrary to the MLB position. Like these teams can't possibly compete.
I know. I'm aware. But anyways, let's go to the Orioles. Jordan Westberg's out. Jackson Holliday's out. Can they compete with what they have? I know they brought in Chris Bassett, but do they have enough pitching? We showed World Series odds earlier. They were high on the list for being a World Series team. Are they that good? Am I missing something here? In a tough AL East with the Yankees, Dodgers, Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Orioles, Rays. Are they really a team that could win the World Series? Because I could make a case they could finish 4th or 5th in the division.
Sure. I agree with you, AJ. Either way, it could go either way. And I do expect their starting rotation to be good. Maybe not great, but good. And when you come back with Trevor Rogers and Kyle Bradish, both of whom excelled last season, and in certain cases will be not on innings restrictions, but you can't expect 200 out of them, but they're good. Then you bring in Shane Baz, you bring in Eflin, you bring him back, you've got Dean Kramer, and you're in a better spot. And of course, Bassett only adds to that. Now, with the losses of Holliday, who is expected back sometime early in the season, and Westberg, whose condition is not exactly clear, yes, it's a challenge for them. Now, they have Kobe Mayo. Kobe Mayo was a top 20 prospect in this sport only a year ago. He's a guy who can certainly step in at third base. He is there. They could also maybe make a trade for someone, but I don't expect them to do that. I expect the Westberg injury to mean that Mayo gets a long look now and a real runway, if indeed Westberg is out for a while, to establish himself as a quality major leaguer. That doesn't happen. Yes, they've got to do some things. But to get to your original question, are they a World Series team? I don't know that I would go that far. I do like what they've done. I do believe they're on the right track. But as with almost every team in both Arizona and Florida, there are questions. There's a lot of what ifs. And that's why the sport is so great, because we don't know how these questions will be answered. And if they're answered in the affirmative in the Orioles case, great. They're a playoff team. If not, then you've got something else.
You kind of lead this into my question. You talk about what ifs. We've been talking about the Dodgers all day today. Are there any ifs of them not winning another World Series? Like, do you see them, even if they're not healthy, do you see them finding a way to get back to the World Series at least?
Todd, the only thing I would say there is for all of their dominance the past couple of years, even beyond that, for the past, I don't know, decade plus, the last 2 years, they nearly lost in the playoffs. And in 24, they nearly lost in the division series. So as good as they should be, and they should be really good, obviously, you never know. And I'm not totally convinced it's going to be a total juggernaut. We talked about 120 wins last year, and I heard you guys talking before I came on. They don't need to do that. They don't necessarily even want to do that. They'll slow play the regular season and then try to get hot in the playoffs. But the playoffs do have a randomness of outcomes. It's not fait accompli that they're going to win. You look at them now with Teo seemingly in a better place physically, with Mookie Betts, Dave Roberts saying he is going to be more like the old Mookie Betts this year, and not just Ohtani and Yamamoto and Glasnow and all that they have in their rotation, but the younger pitchers coming off injuries like Gavin Stone and River Ryan. It looks like they're invincible. I think we all know better than to expect that.
Ken, who's playing shortstop for the Dodgers?
Mookie Betts.
Who?
Mookie Betts.
I just love the way you say it. I just want you to keep saying it. Mookie Betts. I like it. But that wasn't my question. I love it. I could just listen to you say that all day long. Alanna doesn't know this. Todd doesn't know this. But recently, Ken, I'm going to congratulate you. You won a trophy that is the Ken Rosenthal Award for being a great human being, voted on by Ken Rosenthal, awarded to Ken Rosenthal. So what I want to know is, do you travel with that trophy when you go to other camps? And do you take it around with you and show it to, like Alex Cora when you met with him today, where you're like, look, I won my own award, Alex. Shouldn't you congratulate me?
All right. Since you brought this up, AJ, I'll have to reveal what this is. The Athletic
I just said what it was.
No, you didn't say it correctly. What a shock. The Athletic gave me this trophy at the winter meetings for being a good teammate. That's all it is. And no, I do not bring it with me on the road. In fact, it doesn't even have a prominent place in my office, as you learned the other night when you were at my house. So it's very nice, and I'm very honored by any award anybody might give to me. But that's the whole thing. It wasn't invented by me.
Ken, the biggest mistake you've ever made in your life is welcoming AJ into your home to be able to see the trophy to begin with.
Alanna, that is correct.
I will say this: he's got a very lovely home, and his wife Lisa was very accommodating. They had a hibachi, Alanna. They had the hibachi guy outside.
I was supposed to be there.
It was great. It was great
American
food.
Airlines had other
Dessert,
plans.
appetizers, the whole deal.
Wow.
Ken has like 7 Emmys right in his office, and then he has the Ken Rosenthal trophy presented by Ken Rosenthal, voted by Ken Rosenthal, down on the bottom. He needs to move it up by the Emmys.
Ken, I apologize for AJ. I apologize for all of us for AJ. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy camp. And don't forget, guys, Fair Territory with Ken Rosenthal airs every single Monday and Thursday. It is now time for That's What He Said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
We will start the segment with a comment, Todd, and I will defer to you since you are a Yankee lover. Jazz Chisholm says that he is going to be the next member of the 50-50 Club. And for those that don't know what that is, that's 50 stolen bases as well as 50 home runs, a club that Shohei Ohtani invented. Okay, I love the confidence. I love that. But Todd, he weighs about 14 pounds. I'm not certain that Jazz is going to be the guy to get 50-50. What say you?
I can't believe you said that. That's incredible. Yeah, you're a woman of your word. Listen, he hits 50-50. That'll be awesome, man. I love Jazz Chisholm. I do love Jazz Chisholm. This is so hard to do, though, Jazz. Getting 30-30 would be absolutely incredible. Sky's the limit for the guy, but it is, listen, it's going to be very hard to reach for anybody. So not just Jazz, but for anybody in baseball right now, it's going to be very hard to do. I always like to set my goals high, but that is really, really high set right there for the big dog. And we'll see.
He made 30-30 last year. He did make 30-30. He did go 30-30 last year. 31-31. But that was his career high. That was his career high in homers, and he did have 40 stolen bases one year. So he's going to have to make a huge jump from 31.
19 more bases and 19 more homers.
I mean, he's got a 108 career homers. So for him to hit 50, he's almost half of his whole career total. So that's a huge jump, and then 50 career stolen.
I hope he does. I hope he does.
I mean, I hope he does too. That would be incredible. I just don't know that it's going to happen.
That's a lofty goal. I love the confidence, though.
I mean,
you want a guy to say
I also
right?
thought I was going to hit 60 and steal 60 bases one year, but it didn't happen, Todd. I don't know. Maybe it was because they wouldn't give me the green light to steal the bases, so I lost my confidence for the 60 homers.
You really thought you were going to steal 60 bags?
Hell no, that's kind of my point.
Good Lord.
But like Todd said, I like to set my goals high. Just because they don't come true doesn't mean I can't make them high.
Hey, Jazz is 1 for 1 today in spring, so that's a good
homer
start.
though? Was it a homer?
No, it's 0-0 in the 6th inning, so we got to get some runs on the board there. But listen, to button this up, I love his confidence. I love where he's at. This is only a good sign for the Yankees. Be confident, be under control with what you say. Jazz, take off, big dog. That would be awesome for Yankee baseball.
All right. He also said that if robot umpires were behind the plate and all calls were correct, he'd probably have 90 to 100 walks this season.
So, but that's less times you swing, so therefore that's less homers that you can hit. So there goes the 50 homers.
Yeah, you can't have
If you're walking, ask Barry Bonds. When they started walking him 250 times, his homers went.
Yeah, he's saying he has a good knack for the zone. The best knack for the zone person I've ever seen was Joey Votto. Just from playing with him, ball would be like that far off, and all of a sudden, like boom, ball, and he would get the call. I wouldn't get those calls. So, yeah, good for dude. Listen, this dude breeds confidence, and if you're a Yankee fan, you love every second of this. You hope he does this. He stays healthy, and he goes out there and dominates. I'm not saying he can't hit 10 homers in a month. You never know what can happen. But again, 30-30, what he did last year is incredible. Let's get to 35-35 and then keep inching our way up.
You want the confidence.
And
you can get away with that type of confidence if you produce, though, right?
He's just going to jump from 30-30 to 50-50, skip 40-40. He's just going to jump. He's just good for him, man. I hope he does it.
I don't think
you know what?
Actually skip 40.
Here's the thing.
You have to hit 40 before you get 50.
But what if he hits 50 homers and then it'd be 50-40? See, so you never do 44. See, Alanna, you're ruining the story. But I hope he does it, because if he does it, guess what? He could give his own teammate, Aaron Judge, a run for his money for MVP. Then what would we do?
It's going to go to Judge probably.
Okay.
It's going to go to Judge probably. All right, brutal injury update for the guys with the Baltimore Orioles, guys. Assuming he responds to treatment, we're talking about Westberg. It'll be interesting to see where he plays, second or third, given the nature of his injury. It looks like he has a partial tear of the UCL in the right elbow. Buster Olney tweeting this out, and Jake Rill as well. He's going to be getting a PRP injection today per Orioles president of baseball operations. That's the POBO. GM Mike Elias. Westberg will be out for all of April. Timeline is TBD after that. So let's first of all discuss what a PRP is, Todd. This is something. Have you had it in your career? And explain to folks at home what a PRP is and that injection.
And let me explain. I'm not a doctor, for one, but for two, when I had it, I had a PRP injection. So they took blood out of my hip. So when I was in Cincinnati, or I forget where I was. I forget what team was on. They took blood out of my hip and put it actually into my my hand. I had a hand problem at the time. Really good doctors over there. My man Luigi, I appreciate you. And they mix it. They take the blood, they put it in this little cylinder thing, mix it around for a long time. They want to get all that blood moved around. I don't know what the specifics of it were, but it's new blood that forms, that they put into the spot that's hurt, and that's supposed to help, calm down and make it better and make it stronger, faster. And very painful for about 5 to 7 days. I could put my hand in any position you want while I was sleeping, and there was pain everywhere. And that was it. You can use PRP in any parts of your body wherever it's hurting, but again, the procedure wasn't painful, but afterwards it took a little while for that to subside. And it's just your own blood. They say your own blood is better than anything in the world that can help you out with ailments, for sure.
Apparently, it's concentrated to contain a high number of platelets, growth factors, and proteins. So
most guys, especially elbow, the only one I've ever heard that's ever done this was Tanaka with the Yankees, right? That needed Tommy John towards UCL and did the PRP and came back.
Probably what you just heard about, yeah.
Right, that I know about, because most guys, even in the UCL, when they have the PRP, they still eventually have to get
the surgery done.
So maybe this might be a short-term fix.
I don't know. That's the thing, though. I mean, why rip the band? Why just have it as a Band-Aid? I mean,
because they figure if they can do PRP and get him back in a month or 2 months, it's better than him. Because if he has Tommy John, he's going to miss the whole season. I guess Bryce did it. Didn't Bryce do it and not have he got through the season?
He didn't have the surgery.
He never had the surgery?
I don't know. Fact check us on that. I don't think Bryce. He did
Bryce,
have the surgery?
PRP. He missed 1 week, DH the rest of the season, and then he got Tommy John in the offseason.
Mm-hmm. What does this mean, though?
But Bryce also moved to first base and played DH. Yeah. Jordan Westberg is a third baseman, second baseman, shortstop, what a utility guy, right? So he had to throw. He's going to have to throw, and their DH is Mountcastle or Alonso.
And they now don't have Jackson Holliday to start the season.
Yeah.
And now they don't have Jordan Westberg to start the season. So what does this mean short term, I guess, for the O's?
They need a third baseman and a second baseman. I don't know.
Somebody needs to step up. They had all those prospects. You know what I mean? I was
Kobe Mayo.
2 years ago, I was the guy that was bashing them. Trade these guys away. You're going to get a lot of good players in return. And they have a couple guys that are producing, but a lot of them, you don't really hear about too much. And Mayo needs to step up, man. He has to step up this year. But when you hear partial tear, it always worries me. I don't care if it's partial, if it's 0.1%.
Yeah, a tear's a tear.
That I've always believed in that. And again, I hate to say that, but I'm not a doctor. It would, if somebody said, oh, you have a partial ligament spasm or whatever you want, a partial, knee separation, it's still a separation. And I don't know, man. This stuff might linger. It might linger, and it could get, maybe they tell them, oh, it can't get any worse. Hopefully that's the case, but I don't know.
See, that's my concern is like if they do it as a Band-Aid now just to get him back in a month, what if it, continues to happen and then he still has to get the surgery, let's say mid-season, and then he's out additionally for the year even further.
Yeah, I agreed. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he can do it. But Bryce Harper was the one who did it, but he DH'd.
Right.
Westberg's not going to be their DH all year, so he's going to have to throw.
No, he's not that dude.
That's a major difference. He's going to play third base probably, and he's going to have to throw across the diamond multiple times a game. Yeah. You can't hide a third baseman.
Yeah. No, I know. It's a bummer too.
And Todd, think about if you played third and you had an arm you couldn't throw with, how many times every team would bunt? Every team would bunt. I mean, I know guys can't bunt, but he'd just be like, just bunt it to him. He's going to throw a couple of them away and not feel it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some other news for the Oakland Athletics, long-timer. When I think of Bob Melvin, guys, I think of the Athletics. And he is going back to the club as a special assistant, if you will. Obviously, he was the Giants manager for a time. That didn't work out very well. So Melvin back with the A's.
Right place.
Yeah.
He's a Bay Area guy. He managed the Giants for a while. Like you said, I remember him being with the Oakland. Now Sacramento A's, and he's going to come back, and Billy Beane and him can reunite, and they had good teams when Bob Melvin was there. So I like this move.
Yeah, I said Oakland. Obviously, I meant Sacramento or Vegas or whatever, Tallahassee or Nashville or whatever the hell the A's are today. Andrew Friedman should be joining us momentarily, president of baseball operations for the Los Angeles Dodgers as we continue our time here at Dodgers camp. A lot to be excited about if you're Andrew Friedman.
Yeah.
One of the smartest guys in the game. And I say that not just because he walked by, but because he truly is one of the smartest men in the game and also one of the most approachable. I will say that.
Agreed. And I talked to him this morning, and we were laughing and joking about it. And he's always had success everywhere he's gone. He was with Tampa, a huge success, and now he just comes to the Dodgers and has had more success. So smarts, intelligence, luck, whatever you want to call it, Andrew Friedman has kind of checked all the boxes, especially now that he has the 3 World Series under his belt. He's going to be a Hall of Fame. He's going to be a Hall of Fame front office person.
Is there a wing in Cooperstown?
There is. It's like a special wing.
Okay.
There is. It's like umpires, GMs, and scouts, maybe managers. No, the reporters have their own thing with the Frick.
Broadcasters? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Frick Award.
The Frick, and then they have the other one.
Guess who's not in the Hall of Fame?
You?
Yeah.
Me? Todd?
Actually, I have stuff in the Hall of Fame from the all women's broadcast and other things.
Oh, okay.
But as the profession goes,
who's not in the Hall of Fame? Who's not? Who's the question? Who's the answer?
It was me.
Oh, okay.
You're in the Hall of Fame too because every single player has a file. Every single Major League Baseball player has a file in Cooperstown.
But I have stuff like Alanna. Todd, you have stuff in the Hall of Fame, don't you? Like I just sent my scorecard. Right. Ooh, so I'm in it twice then. Because I sent them my scorecard from the 15-inning Tigers-Mariners game. Mm-hmm. They asked me if I would send them where I kept score. So I sent it. I'm like, if you can read this, good luck.
Hey, listen, we're talking about women in sports. You know who needs to be in the Hall of Fame?
Who's that?
My mind goes on a weird tangent. Remember Marla Hooch from A League of Their Own? That girl needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Hey, listen, that's one of my favorite movies. Don't ask me why my mind goes there. AJ knows.
What was the name of the bratty kid that was on the tour with them? One of the players. What was his name? Man. That would run up and down the bus.
She would go something baby. She'd call him something baby. I don't know, but Marla Hooch. Stillwell, baby. Yes, that's it. Baby. Oh my. Listen, Marla Hooch.
Hard-hitting stuff here on Foul Territory.
Hashtag Marla Hooch Hall of Fame. That's
there you go.
One.
Todd, get it trending. Get it trending.
I will.
Andrew Friedman has nothing but time to joke with us because he's not the president of baseball operations of the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, so he can waste your time with us. He is now here. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. We're just talking about there's so much naturally to be excited about, but there's also a bullseye the size of Texas on this club's back. But you would have it no other way.
Absolutely, it means we're doing something right. I think so much of it comes down to the guys that we have. They're unfazed by that. The way they prepare, what they do to get ready for a game, that kind of stuff just doesn't really matter to them. And it's fun walking around before a game and all 26 guys are doing something to help us win a game that night. Whether it's watching video, going over scouting reports, they're in their cage, they're talking about the opposing pitcher. And I look out at 3 o'clock and we've got Mookie, Freddie, all of our guys on their knees taking balls, and I look across the field and it's the other team's like 12th, 13th player out there doing early work. And just the culture those guys have created. Guys are definitely going to bring it when they play us, but our guys just aren't fazed by it and do everything they can to prepare to go win a baseball game, and there's no better feeling than that.
That's great. That's great when your leaders and the guys who people look up to are doing the most work. That's how you want it to be in most in every organization and every team. And that's why you guys win. I joked with you when I saw you earlier. You had a big smile on your face. I said, what can you not be happy about? You've won back-to-back World Series. Every great free agent, Todd, guess where they go? They go to the Dodgers, right? Oh, I'll go to the Dodgers. We were joking with Orel, or you guys break every rule with the deferments and this and that.
They just do it better than everybody else.
I know. It was a joke. Orel got mad. It's like you got mad, right? Alanna gets mad. She defends the Dodgers to her death. But you guys have just figured out ways from the minor league development, from the draft, to the way you guys sign guys, to the way you make people feel and the way you treat people, to be right now the best organization in baseball. How much pride do you take from that?
A ton. It's so many talented people, the amount of work that goes into it. We talked about this 10, 11 years ago of creating a destination spot, because obviously the goal is to win a championship, but to create a destination spot are things we can control. You can't control winning a championship, but you can control how you communicate with players, the honest approach, how you treat families, how we develop and share information. You can control those things. And so for us, that's been kind of our North Star, to continue to get better and better every year. And the way that plays out is our own guys don't want to leave. And ideally, guys on other teams are longingly looking like, man, I want to be on the Dodgers. And so that's our goal. That's what keeps us going. And I think it's a ton of really talented people, and from the different departments being really synced up. It doesn't mean we don't disagree. We disagree a lot. But I think it's about really talented people coming together and doing anything and everything we can to win.
I want to ask a question about the new guys that came in. Heard you're a very approachable guy. Not many guys like you out there, with brass and baseball. But who out of the new guys that you brought over, the Edwin Diaz, Kyle Tucker, to name, is there one that you talk to, you're like, man, this was a good pick for us? I can just tell by just talking to them.
Obviously we do a ton of work on these guys. We're talking to clubhouse guys, teammates, trainers, broadcasters, anyone and everyone we can, just to get the best feels we can for a player. Obviously, when we have a guy, we have a better feel, but we're trying to get as good of a feel as we can. And I'll start with Edwin Diaz, just because we signed him first. But obviously, I just heard unbelievable things about him over the years, and got to see it with us competing against him and him coming into Game 6 in the 4th inning. All he cares about is winning. And, hearing that and then getting a chance to talk to him before we signed him, and had he and his wife on a Zoom, and just kind of getting into the Dodgers and what we do and what we're about and what we hear about him, and just what a perfect match we feel like it would be, and really connected with him. I think the guys who genuinely care about winning, there is a real connection there. And with Tuck, obviously there was some stuff that was written and questions about how much he likes the game, et cetera, that as we dug into it, we found to be pretty unfair. He's just a lower motor guy. And as we dug on that and got into it, for me, makeup is so much about what you do to prepare yourself to go win a game and how you compete. And I will bet on Tuck with what he does. People say, he doesn't take enough swings before the game. I think most guys take way too many. And if he's not taking enough but goes out and does what he does, so I don't think it's
the results speak for itself.
Right. I don't.
Every guy's different. Every guy, Todd, you know this. Every guy is different. Every player is different. Everyone has a different way to prepare. Everyone takes a different number of swings. Everyone takes a different number of ground balls. But as long as you're ready to play when that light comes on at 7:05, then it doesn't matter. But there's guys I played with that didn't hit.
Exactly.
Still could go out and hit in the game. There's guys who took 1,000 swings to hit. I didn't take a lot of swings. I took 30 swings a day before batting practice and was, okay, I'm good.
Yep.
Right? It's just different for every guy, and that's what makes every guy different.
But some guys will talk trash about it if it doesn't line up with what they do.
Exactly.
Instead of appreciating the individualized aspect of this. And so as we dug on it, and so I think through conversations with Tuck and his wife Sam and just getting into our organization, our family program, all of it, I think there was a real connection that was created.
Who's responsible for the culture? We hear so much about the culture, the chemistry of this team. Guys want to stay, guys want to be here. Who's responsible for it?
I think everyone. I think it takes a village. I think it's having genuine people who care about it. I think, the honest conversation, I think, is incredibly important to that. The game of assumptions is so dangerous, and we've all been around a lot of players who assume this is what the organization thinks, assumes this is what, instead of having those conversations. And I've had plenty with players over the years where it hasn't gone well in that moment. But later I've had guys come up and say how much they appreciated the honest conversation and knowing exactly where they stood, what things the organization valued, what things they wanted to work with the player on to help enhance. And so I think there are so many fingerprints on that. I think there has to be. And I think it's about having a group of people who believe strongly in collaboration and working together to get to the best possible outcome. And so for us, it's about continuing to raise the bar. We had a meeting this morning, in an area that we don't feel like we're as good as we need to be in. I'll hold it back.
Oh, dang. I was like, what is it? What is it?
But in ways that we can really enhance it and have a follow-up meeting this afternoon to really get into it. And so I think it's just holding ourselves to a really high standard and a group of people who all really care about it.
I have a question. I love asking this question. We kind of understand and know who, the 1 through 9 may be. Is there a guy in spring training right now, a younger guy that might come up during this year and, help this team produce? Take health out of it. A dude that you're like, man, this kid could be a ball player. Give me a hitter if you got one off the top of your head.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of really talented minor league hitters in camp, a number of whom are going to start off the year in AA, and then a few who are going to start the year in AAA. And just off the top of my head, I mean, James Tibbs coming over last July, taking a little bit. He was traded twice in his first professional year. A little shell shock from that. But I think the way his mind works, how he's kind of dug in with our hitting guys and performance guys, he's looked great. Ryan Ward's coming off an unbelievable year last year in AAA, and just the makeup is off the charts. Those are two guys that feel like could really, if the opportunity arises, if and when, could really do something. And Alex Freeland, we got a chance to see some last year. His makeup, his on-field makeup, the way he plays the game, how much he cares about defense, base running, and what he does in the box, aligns so much with how we see the world, and we see him continuing to get better and better.
Andrew, you're the Dodgers. You're not supposed to talk about prospects. That's when you were with the Rays that you talked about prospects. Now you talk about free agents, okay? So what did you learn? Or maybe the better question is, you won with Tampa. You've now won with LA. What do you wish you knew, or what did you learn once you come to LA that you wish you had known back when you were with Tampa before you got here? And you can't say, I wish we could spend the money. Yeah, I wish we had the money.
I mean, I think I'm way better today than I was 5 years ago, way better than I was 10 years ago. And it's so many micro things every day. So it's hard to say. I think, part of, when I was with the Rays competing against the Red Sox and Yankees, we had no business ever beating them. And for me, it was forcing us into thinking about how to do things differently. If we approach things the exact same way, we were going to get beaten over the head. And so there were certain disciplines and things of roster building, of, prospects, and just things in development and how to kind of individualize things that I always said that it would be so scary if the Red Sox and or Yankees at that time were operating more closely to how we were operating and having the, big stack to bully as well. And so, coming over here, it was something that in a lot of ways was throwing myself in the deep end. I didn't know what the CBT was. I didn't know how it worked. There was a lot that had to learn and figure out on the fly. But it was, if we can take some of those disciplines, not all, because there's advantages that come, but each market has its own unique challenges. People talk about, oh, now you have money. There were benefits to being with the Rays that the Dodgers don't have. You can more proactively, if you're not good enough in that moment, you can be aggressive to add future value to make your future teams better. And you had to do that to be good in that market. And so we've let a lot of really talented players who have left. I remember sitting with Shohei when we were trying to recruit him to come over here. And the line was, hey, look, however you define our success over the last 10 years, I feel very confident that our next 10 will be even better. And if you come join us, then I feel even more strongly about it. The whole system is designed for us to have the worst farm system in baseball. We pick at the end of the draft. We have less international money. We're not trading our expiring contracts for future talent. And so Shohei just stopped me and goes, how? And it gets to our organization and the integration and the talent that we have throughout.
Plus, you also got an insurance policy when you sign Shohei. This isn't in his contract. If you leave, he gets to leave too. So you were like, this sounds good for my future and Shohei's future.
I told Mark, I said, hey, I did not put him up to this.
Sure you didn't. Sure
and
you didn't.
I promise you I will not ask for more than 20% of the team.
But that must have meant a lot to you. I mean, the best player in the game says, I go, you go, I go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was him buying into what we were doing, and he didn't get to know me yet. It's curious to see
now
if
he's
he
like,
would still have that.
He's like, I made a mistake. Do you get nervous about guys going to the WBC? Just in terms of, because the greater picture for you, obviously, is another World Series championship. It's like you don't want to take them away from that moment, but you've got a bigger thing in mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I have my baseball fan hat on, I think it's outstanding. I think it's great for the game. Watching it 3 years ago, I loved it. I was hanging on every pitch. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was great for the game. That being said, for our pitchers especially, to throw at that intensity in March worries me. With our designs of playing through October. So it's about preparing these guys as best we can, doing everything we can to put them in the best position to go out and do that, and then see where we're at as they come back. But yeah, the pitching makes me a little nervous. The position players, it's almost that they don't get enough. Like Will Smith and Cal Raleigh are going to alternate. Will's going to have way fewer plate appearances going in than he would have had he been here. And so even just building up the tolerance with his legs to catch and withstand that. So each guy's a little bit different. I love it in a lot of ways, but in some ways just wearing my Dodgers hat makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. It should. Especially Edwin Diaz is you talked about him earlier, perfect example of something that can go wrong. We pray that nothing obviously does go wrong. So are the Dodgers ruining baseball? Because everyone you talk to, don't you get tired of that? Because I think what you do is great. You see a player, you want a player, you figure out a way to go get them, whether it's creatively, however you want to put it. And I think it's awesome for the game. And I think good teams make the game better. And now, whether you love the Dodgers or hate the Dodgers, people tune in to watch the Dodgers because we want them to win, and more people tune in because we hate the Dodgers and we want them to lose. So how do you react when people say Dodgers are ruining baseball?
Yeah, I mean,
suck it.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
What she said. I am obviously biased. I think it is an incredibly lazy narrative. And you look back 13 years ago, the Dodgers filed bankruptcy. And
people don't remember that, do they?
Exactly. And this is just a really, really strong organization right now where our fan support is incredible. And so the feeling that our ownership group has is we have to fulfill our side of this. And we have to reward our incredible fans who come out 50,000 every night, who on the road feels like almost a home game. The passion that our fans have for this team, it is that partnership and that connection that fuels this. And we obviously wouldn't do it if we weren't in position to do it. And we're in position to do it because of a lot of the great things that have happened over the last 10 to 12 years. And so the counter of this is the people who are saying that is, oh, so you want Mark just to pocket more money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, like fans come out because they like watching the best players in the world play this game. That is incredibly difficult to do. And for us to reward our fans and have the best players we can have, we feel like is more common sense than anything.
Two-part question for you. Max Muncy wanted to be here, said left money on the table. There's no place else he wanted to be. Why the timing of the extension? Why did it make sense for you guys? And second question, how can we get Freddie to finish his career as a Dodger after his 2 years are up? He wants to play until he's 40, 4 more years.
Two very different two-part question. All right. Starting with Muntz, we had started talking about a little bit soon after the parade, and it was, hey, look, we've got a lot of heavy lifting to do right now. Let's get through the heavy lifting of the winter, and we'll get back together at some point before spring training. So we knew he wanted to be here. He knew we wanted him here. So we had that jumping off point, and it was, hey, let's just push it until we get through all the craziness. And on Freddie, I mean, the impact that he has had on the field, off the field, has been incredible. He has been right in the thick of so many incredible moments. I didn't think going into that offseason that he would be wearing Dodger blue. And now I don't want to picture him in a different uniform. And so our hope is that he does finish his career here and hopefully has some more rings on his fingers. But yeah, the impact he's had is not lost on us.
Andrew, everyone always looks at you for so long and says, he's so young, he's so young. Well, I just Wikipedia'd you and I actually found out you're older than I am. So how can I get people to say that I'm so young?
Yeah, it's funny. Just our vocational choices, I think.
Yes, you can.
I wasn't good enough to be you.
Yes, but you can do your job for a lot longer.
Right.
So
definitely a better aging aspect to it for sure. Although I feel like I'm aging in dog years, so maybe not. Maybe
if you keep winning, you get younger.
Right. Maybe the joke's still on me. We'll see.
Oh, okay. That's funny. And then last one for me, as you mentioned Mark Walter, your owner. Can you get me on his golf course in Yulee, the what's it called? White Oaks, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Can you hook that up?
It's incredible. We met there.
Oh, you've been there?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
Incredible.
Do you have the hookup for me?
Yeah, I do.
There's like rhinoceros and giraffe.
I know a guy.
Wait,
There's
what?
like rhinoceros and giraffe running around the golf
feeding
course.
Them. I've got some videos.
Yeah.
Where is this?
It's
right
kind of north,
Jacksonville.
North Florida.
Yeah.
Largest
animal preserve in the United States.
Okay.
And there's some golf courses.
Allegedly, there's two unbelievable golf courses.
Are they rescue rhinos? Because that's all I care about. And they better not be bought.
How do you rescue a rhino?
Listen, Linda. It's Florida. There's things that happen.
That's next off season.
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, okay, fine. We'll exchange numbers.
Last question for me. You cannot go to the Lakers full time. Okay? Like I can't lose you for this team. I don't care about the Lakers like I care about the Dodgers. Okay?
Yeah.
So Lon's over there now.
He is. We traded Lon to the Lakers.
Okay. What do you anticipate that role being like? Not for Lon, nobody cares, but for you.
I think it's just much more, we're all under this Mark Walter TWG umbrella. Mm-hmm. And it's about, information sharing, helping each other, and being resources for one another. And it's not easy to have, kind of outside perspective and different people's thoughts. And having that all under this umbrella when things are happening and I can help somewhere or someone else can help us. It's more about just doing everything we can under that umbrella to help each team be as good as they can be.
Well, I guarantee the Lakers just got a lot better with Mark Walter and that.
So you're not going to go Paul DePodesta and go NFL with the Cleveland Browns and then come back to baseball?
Dodgers are stuck with me.
I think they're okay with that.
Andrew, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Hopefully we're having another conversation next year about Pete.
I like it. I'm in on that.
All right, time now to slap hands, guys.
Decided not to brave the elements.
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah. We're still
too much sun for Alanna.
No.
She's from the Northeast. There's too much sun for
That's
her.
Right.
That is not true. That is absolutely not true.
Deficient at this point?
Yeah. I'm very deficient in vitamin D. Andrew, thank you. All right. We're going to finish our show here talking a little bit about camp. I mean, we're going to Mariners mañana.
Yep.
Rangers on Sunday, and then you can see the rest of the way. Guys are heading kind of the Scottsdale area following the Rangers, and then you head to Florida. You can see the remainder of the teams there. All of this, of course, the spring training tour brought to you by Fastenal. The Foul Territory tour continues. It's a lot to say. Is there a certain club that you're really excited to visit? Just kind of get to
White
know
Sox?
the guys.
Oh, actually got to go over there today, so I got to see a lot of the people. I was looking. You know what? I'm looking forward to the Cubs, and people are going to say why. Well, apparently we've had our behind-the-scenes people had a huge conference call with them. They're going to deliver me all kinds of ballpark food to eat.
Oh, I love that.
Right? Like, how cool is that?
That's very cool.
I mean, that's how you get someone to switch allegiances, although it's not going to happen. But at least they're trying.
The Cubs are a good club.
They're a good club. They have Bregman over there, right? They were good last year. They have a chance to be good. It's just a tough National League, as obviously we know here in Dodgers camp. But I'm looking forward to the Cubs, seeing the vibe, talking to Craig Counsell, seeing what the Alex Bregman has brought to the table over there. I think the Brewers are going to be interesting. The Reds are interesting because people forget the Reds made the playoffs last year. Mariners, their vibes are going to be high. Rangers they're expected to be a lot better. So I just love going to spring training.
I love spring training.
I love going and getting to talk to people and seeing everybody, and just you get to connect with a lot of people. And you're back here in Dodgers camp. I got to connect with Orel and Rick Krajewski, who who's Joe Davis's stat guy, but he also works with us at Fox, and Juan and everybody that's here, and all the reporters that are here. It's cool just to connect with the clubhouse guys and the coaches, and it's just an awesome time.
Yeah, and speaking of connecting, right after this show at 2 p.m. locals, so that is 4 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to sit down with Dave Roberts in an exclusive interview with him. It's myself, Clint Pasillas, and Katie Wu. Dave is going to come up here in about 40 minutes. We'll have that conversation, talking all things 2025 World Series and flipping the page to 2026. But for all of us here at Foul Territory, of course, Todd Frazier, AJ Pierzynski, I'm Alanna Rizzo in for Scott Braun. We'll be back tomorrow from Mariners camp. We'll see you then.